Hello everybody, welcome back to Wappleville. I guess welcome back to some more Song of Ice and Fire. Song of Ice and Fire. Believe it or not, we are down to the last two figures from that GreyJoy unit. Now, the banner guy is going to be a little bit different. Obviously, we only have one of the banners, but we have one of these guys left, and well, as you can see, this is the color scheme we're going to be doing. This is what we're going to be doing. We got the colors out on the palette over there. We'll talk about those somewhere around here. So we got, here it is. So this is one that I just did as a tutorial video for the Patreon page right here. And obviously TMM is a bit of what we're doing. Boy, different tints to it though. Different tints, and well, we don't need much to be able to make all these different tints. So over here on the palette, this is the only metallics we got. We got iridescent pearl white, and we got that homemade gold over here. Then we have the green stuff world pigments, and that would be, this right here, and then of course, here we go. So there's your iridescent pearl white. That's what we're going to be messing around with here. Now, perline black, phthalo green. This is the Williamsburg indigo over here. A couple of these radiants, the blue, the green, the violet. Those are going to be kind of important. The white over here, remember you're not going to be able to use that here. You cannot lighten the metallics with, well, any of these opaques, not even the radiants. So we can mix darker translucent colors or just darks, right? The phthalo green. But see this Indian yellow, we actually mix this with that iridescent pearl white to make one heck of a bright gold over here. Now, first things first though, we got pre-glaze stuff to do. Pre-glaze stuff to do, and for the most part, that's going to be perline black. Pretty much everywhere, even on the helmet, even on the face, even on the axe. The base, I throw a little bit of Van Dyke brown down there, back here, a little bit of the brown matter, whatever. Nothing super fancy. We'll get into it here. Now, of course, this is also part of a tutorial series that I've been doing. So I did the video on the one figure, but I also did, check this out. Oh, look, there's no more figures on the base because we got the last few. So you can see all these reeds and cattails and everything. Well, I filmed this video already where we did all the basing stuff using these 3D printed bits from Make It Epic. The final video is going to be me painting this actually with some weathering powder type things and some liquid pigments, then doing water effects. Well, and also to some a little bit of flock and foliage and some other things. Now let me grab this card right here. So again, this is what we've originally been working from. Hey Nosferatu, nice to see you. So again, it's hard to believe we're at the last couple of guys here because we had only started painting these, oh my gosh, on the Friday stream. Yeah, on the Friday stream. We did Friday, we did Saturday, and now today. So Nosferatu, hope you're doing well. Oh, let's see. I might need to grab some more Van Dyke Brown out here. So Nosferatu, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're doing well here. Let me just get this situated. There we go. I can actually go a little bit more with the liquid here on the bases because they're somewhat more absorbent. Hey, Cayman, nice to see you. Welcome. Welcome to the dramatic conclusion here, at least of the unit painting. Then, like I was just talking about, we're going to get into some of the other stuff. We're going to get into the basing, the movement tray. Might even do some magnetization. Might even do that. Okay, well, Nosferatu, I'm glad that you're able to have that Friday on a, well, right now it's my Tuesday. And of course, everything that's been going on here, there's almost no difference between one day to the next. I mean, it's hard to ascertain that normally, but lately it's that much more difficult to really be able to tell the difference from one day to the next. We're just kind of surviving from 1 hour to the next. Now here, a little bit more of that dark, like so. And a little more here. Now we do have some, well, actually I have a Conquest figure here. Unfortunately, it's not the Conquest figures that were supposed to be here. It's a commission thing. It's some big hero character type thing that goes on a 100 mil base or something like that. I don't know. I think it's something that's newer for maybe Old Dominion, not 100 Kingdom. I think it's new for Old Dominion. That's, I think, the new one, right? For Conquest. Banner over here, I think we'll just keep it pretty basic. All right, good enough there. Now I'm going to just start to slam in some of the Pearline, mostly just Pearline Black. That's about it. So Caymans, I hope that you're doing well. Again, this is actually what we did on Friday. So those 5 miniatures, we painted those up in 5 hours, 25 minutes. We did 4 more in about 4.5 hours. And then there is the figure from the video right there. So it's been pretty interesting, I gotta say. I'll let some of that Van Dyke Brown mix in here on this part. I think I'll do the same on the other guy too. Now you notice not as much of the, oh, maybe not. That's a little bit different than the other ones. You notice not as much of the liquid here, right? We don't need a whole bunch of liquid there. First, also too, this is not terribly absorbent, right? Now, Cayman, I'm glad that you can hang out with us here. Now, I don't know, did you get a chance to see here our last landscape of Middle Earth? So that was our last one right there. We did another version of Hobbiton, looking from a different direction this time. A little different direction. I'm just going to go straight over to the Pearline Black. We're just going to start slamming this stuff in here. And of course, we've had a lot of fun with their usual 3D printed stuff. Some Lost Kingdoms. I've unfortunately, with everything going on, I have not had a chance to print any of the new Archvillain stuff or whatever. I've tried to print some of the new Diwali figures and some other stuff because, well, they kind of need the help more than Archvillain does. Archvillain does just fine by themselves. Here's some of the other ones that we've done. So there's Isengard. That was the week before that. Week before that was Barad-dûr. Week before that was Medjugorje. So we've had a chance to do some of those. And of course, there's our Loot Studios Mermaid. We did that, I don't know, a week ago? Or was it 2 weeks? I think it was just a week ago we did that one. All right, let me move this thing out of the way. There we go. All right. Back to some of our Pearline Black again. And this, as we call it, indigo green. That's going to be a staining color. And there's a Kathy in the house. Well, hopefully she's in the house, because she was just sleeping there. So everybody say hello to Kathy. Hopefully we get some more folks in here so that Kathy can talk to him as well. All right. Again, just going to smush this into all the crevices. This one, let's do the same over here. Look at that. Look at that. Gloriously messy. Gloriously messy. So hopefully at some point here, Bina. I just all of a sudden was thinking about Bina there. One is a stuffed animal, one is not. Well, unless, I don't know, maybe Bina actually does watch the streams. Maybe Bima watches the streams, and he's the one that texts and talks about getting Williamsburg paint and Gamlin paints in Germany. It could be. What do we got here? We got the last of our pre-glaze, sorta, kinda, ish. And of course, in about an hour or so, this nasty mess becomes this. Yeah, I mean, we've only done it 9 times already. We only got, no, wait, 10 times. I only got to do it twice more. Only got to do it 2 more times. We got somewhere over here some fresh cut sponges. There they are. And of course, they're just here we go. There you are. I just wish I had learned this from the get-go. because you can get, let's see, about 7 or 8 pieces out of this thing here. Hey, Abakar, nice to see you. Nice to see you there, Abakar. I mean, so many reasons to just not do something like this. I used to actually use the big old sponge. Then I try to cut a piece off of it to try and use another part. It's just insane. Or I could cut it into pieces and then do this. And literally use all the, look at this. I can use that edge of the sponge. I can turn it around. I can use this edge of the sponge. Never occurred to me. Well, I mean, I eventually did, but not right away. There's a Landrast, and there's a Kathy, well, certainly in the house. So everybody say hello to Kathy. What do we got going on here? And then we'll show you what this looks like compared to the other one. Now, of course, I still do have a primed version. So there's a difference right there. That's just the pre-glaze, and again, this was that primer color. So you can see the difference that is made. Look at this. We got an acid burn punk in the house too. Acid burn. Nice to see ya. Geez, acid burn. I've been trying to send folks messages, just to kind of keep people appraised and stuff like that. I've been just trying to cycle around through those. I was meaning to probably send you a message yesterday, just a little too chaotic. So hopefully, maybe, I don't know, today I could shoot you a note or something like that. So acid burn, nice to see you. What is here? Let's take away some more of this. And then we'll start hitting our lighter stuff over the top, because reasons. So Landrast, those Night's Watch were looking really fantastic. All of the foliage and everything. I'm pretty sure you don't have any Insta links, do you, for folks to be able to see those? Because those really came out ace. Hey, Clinton Hobbies, nice to see you too. Nice to see you too. Okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Do I grab this? I'll grab this. I don't care. Don't really care. I'm going to do this. Green. Radiant. Whoops. Radiant blue. More radiant blue. And then some perylene black. More perylene black. More blue. And we're just going to shove that stuff into the bristles. And just to show you, that, see how little paint is coming off of there? This is what we're talking about when we're talking about that dry brushy type stuff. I'm glad that you're doing good there, Acid Burn. Glad that you're doing well. Oh, the heck with it. We'll just throw this over the top here. So Landrast, this is actually the last 2 guys from the unit here. Believe it or not, I did the 10th guy in this video here. So this will go up, I don't know, tomorrow, the next day, something, I don't know, whatever. But this is yet another one, another new video for the Patreons there, because reasons. Gonna take this and again just do that little bit of dry brushy stuff here over the top. And Landrast, that was a really a cool find, wasn't it? Doing the black spinel pre-glaze, use the radiance for the rest of it. That was pretty sweet, wasn't it? Just to be able to hammer your way through those guys, get some fantastic results along the way. Nothing like being able to do that. All right, almost got the inside of the shield. That wouldn't have been good. All right, let's hit this thing now. Yeah, Landrast, well, like I said, I've got that cav unit that's ready to go. I'm probably going to have to be painting, well, maybe by the weekend, Friday, Saturday, most likely. I'll be doing that Lethal Shadows stuff for him since he's got all the shows coming up. But I'll try and get some of the Night's Watch things prepped. Is there a Dano in the house? Hey, Dano. Nice to see you again, Dano. So, Dano, when there's more folks in the chat and stuff, and say hi to Kathy. Kathy's also in the chat. Now, when there's more folks in the chat, you want to share your Cults 3D link there with all your basting stuff and some of your other sculpts. Feel free to do that. Now this, you know what? The heck with it. I'm going to just throw a little bit of this here. Not too much. Some of that there. Hit the shields. There's not that much of his robe slash cloak or whatever the heck. Yeah, I guess cloak. Really not so much a robe. More of a cloak. But, I mean, look at this here banner, right? I'm pretty sure that folks would say, man, if I could just go through banners like this, I would have more banners on my arm. Especially since the Song of Ice and Fire folks, I understand why they do this kind of thing. I wish they wouldn't, for obvious reasons, but you know, they don't want people to have to feel like they need to do the freehand themselves, so they do something like that. And that way people can just sort of feel like they got some freehand design on there without having to hassle with it. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to go a little bit lighter than that, maybe, but for right now, I just need to... there we go. There we go. So that's some of the Radiant Violet. We'll just, we'll make a Radiant Gray. Because, you know, that's what we do. Violet, green, making gray of the Radiant variety. Good to go here. Some more there. This one, oh, it does have a rock. It does have a rock on it, so we'll hit that too. We're going to grab one of these. Going to grab some of this. That's our homemade gold metallic. And look at this. Then we mix it with the perylene black. It makes a really dark greenish gold. Boom. Sort of like a brassy color, I guess. Yeah. I guess you could say it's kind of a brassy color. Get the other one. Yeah. Not sure if we're going to do that part, though. Maybe not this time. Then we'll figure out where Terra Rosa is going to go. Again, just looking to get some of the darker metals around here. You can see just how much we fret about the details, don't we? So, Dano, I hope that you're doing good. I know you had all kinds of stuff going on. All right. Oh, almost forgot. Almost forgot. Here, let's get a little bit more of that perylene black mixed with our gold there. And we will get some metals around the edge. Sort of indicate that here. Now that Terra Rosa. And I guess a little bit of the brown matter too. Why not? Just start to hit some of these other areas now. It's gotta happen quick, baby. It's gotta happen quick. No fooling around. No fooling around. We're just gonna get right down to it here. I see some, oh gosh, I see people, and it's like the person that's going to, you know, they're buying $10 worth of groceries and they're trying to pay for it with $10 worth of pennies, and they're taking them out of their little coin purse thing one at a time. It can be like that. Yeah, Dano, I do that all the time. With you'll see a lot of that in the Metals Workshop videos. You'll see an awful lot of that. That's how we did this guy. Speaking of black spinel, we took just the iridescent pearl white and we mixed it with the black spinel, the mix of indigo and Van Dyke brown. That gave us our really dark metals, and of course, well, Here you had phthalo blue mixed with the iridescent pearl white, and then for this that was more of the black and Van Dyke brown mixed with the iridescent pearl white. Sorry that you haven't been able to pick up a brush in a while there, Dano. I'm not super surprised. Like you said, you've had one or two things to going on right lately, so hopefully you can kind of start to ease your way back into it. And oh yeah, Dano, you should show folks your dreadnought. Holy smoke! Sorry about that. Uh, Sorry, I'm completely spacing on everything here. So yeah, you should show people what your dreadnought looks like and all the nifty oil paint type things that you did on that. Aye, Armored Wolf. Sorry I couldn't give you any more advanced warning, Armored Wolf. It was just kind of like, well, I'll stream, maybe not stream. Okay, maybe I'll stream now. Well, we're gonna have to wait a bit. So sorry that it's been a little bit choppy there. Wow, look at how dark that brown matter is getting. That's pretty hilarious. Now, warmer greens. Look at the distinct difference. Well, here, let's do an early one of these guys. Zoom. Values are the same. There's no difference between the values, but one green has more yellows in it, more browns, more whatever. Hey, Velfera, how you doing? Are you playing a little bit of hooky there, Velfera? I would imagine that. And look at this. How prescient is this, Velfera? Look at that. And we bring it back. Now you can see those warmer greens right there. And everybody, please check out what Dano just posted. Hey, Velfera, now that you're here, you should post. I know you have the last, every 2-3 days you've been posting some new links to your Instas there. If you want to post your latest Instagram link or anything like that, definitely feel free to pop that in there. So Valfra, hope that you're doing well. All right, look at this. Look what's going to happen here. We're just going to let all this stuff just do some mixing. Yeah. Let it mix with that pre-glaze here, because raisins. I would accept raisins as well, hopefully of the chocolate-covered variety, though. Yes, indeed. Oh, and today well, yet another culinary skill acquired today. I never actually made basically a homemade chicken noodle soup before, and we made that today. So yeah, that was we were exercising our culinary prowess today. Roos, how you doing? Well, Roos, if you, well, I know you probably don't have any post of it, right? Because you just finished it. But if you got that on a Discord or Instas or something like that, you want to post that so people can see what you've been able to do with the oils, especially on the first mini. Hey, that would be really cool. I would really enjoy it if folks could take a look at that. Hey, Bina, how you doing? We summon you, Bina. Yes, you were summoned. Yes, indeed. Not quite in the normal way, but you were summoned here. So thanks, Bina, for joining us. I hope that you're doing well. We also got ourselves a Kathy in the chat, so everybody can say hello to the Kathy. Oh, we can do a little side by side here, can't we? We can do a little side by side just for fun. And everybody, please check out Abacar's latest work there. And of course, everybody also please check out Armored Wolf, because Armored Wolf does all kinds of amazing stuff. In addition to all the fantastic flower tufts and basing supplies that we love so much, Armored Wolf also does all the amazing leather artwork, dice bags, journal covers, you name it. Alright. So you can see we're 24 minutes in. And these were just primer 24 minutes ago. Well, thanks, Bina. I really do appreciate it here. Let me get my fan going here if I can. Where the heck? Oh, there we go. Let's get to our lighter tan. It's going to mix what we've got here on the boots. Why not? And again, for the folks that didn't see, Friday we painted up 5 of these guys in 5.5 hours. We then did 4 more in 4.5 hours on Saturday. This was a video that I shot yesterday, so that gives us 10. We are painting 11 and 12. And then that means I get to film the last video of this whole series right here as we take this movement tray, we paint it up, we do some stuff with foliage and everything else, and then we do water effects on this using the heavy gloss gel. Hey Stila, how you doing? Yeah, Stila, we're just kind of we'll be stuck with this for a while, it would seem. Hopefully we can start doing some more normal stuff. We're basically we're on Stila time, pretty much at this stage. We mostly are working on Stila time. So everybody, please give Stila Rebel a follow, because Stila also uses the oil paints. I have not had a chance to get that Severus blue, or actually I was gonna get the Williamsburg Ultramarine blue too, just to see what the heck would happen to that. Thank you so much, Aussie. Appreciate that. That's 23 months there, Aussie. That's darn near 2 years. So being nice to see you. All right, go back to this guy here. Oh, what the heck? I'm just gonna throw some of whatever the heck this is on his tunic. We'll just call it that. So Steel, hopefully you've made really good progress on that. Well, I don't want to say the final Oni. Like, is there such a thing as the final Oni? I think there'll be plenty of more Onis coming along. At some point, there will be more Onis. We know how that goes. Yeah. Maybe get to some more darks again. I might just do that. Yeah, let's start to fire off some darker edges there. Now Steel, if you got any, here. Let's use this. Let's use that indigo. This is the Williamsburg indigo, by the way. So Steel, if you have any finished pics of the Oni, I'm sure people will really get a big kick out of seeing that. For sure. Now, what's happening here? More darks, more darks. Maybe I'll even let a little bit of the Van Dyke Brown work its way in there. You must have dark to show the light, and that's what we're going to do here. Maybe we can give him a darker beard. We've gone pretty light on all the other beards. I'm going to see if I can't go darker on this, and it may not work out. May not work out. It might work out fantastic. Only one way to know. If you're not going to try, you're never going to know. Oh, yeah, more dark green. Oh, well, that's going to be indigo over here. Bam, like so. So Stila, the Williamsburg indigo. There is that one. Oh, it's a color theory and oils video. And I got one of the miniatures that I did. This is one of them. And ever since I did this one, I've been wanting to try it again. And I've got about 4 more of these guys. I'm going to try... Oh, and we mixed it with the iridescent pearl white. So as intense as indigo is with the Winsor Newton, the Williamsburg, well, as you can imagine, it's that much more intense. So, yeah, just imagine how... it's not as extreme, but think Williamsburg Van Dyke Brown or Gamlin Van Dyke Brown versus Winsor Newton Van Dyke Brown. That's kind of the difference that you're starting to look at there. Alright, so Kathy's going to try and get back to sleep there. Everybody, let's wish Kathy luck as we welcome in Olive. How you doing, Olive? Yeah, there's been a lot of developments, Aussie. Lots of development. Well, and on many fronts there. So Roos, there's not many staining colors. There's only really about a dozen, 13, depending on the brands. And indigo is just a hugely useful color because it's a staining color. It's got it's not too blue. It's got a little bit of grayishness to it. It's usually the foundation point for things like our something like this, where we're going to do a lot of our non-metallic metal on the steel side of things. It's just a fantastic, very dark blue. You mix it with something like a Van Dyke brown, basically you have your black. So it's a fantastic, wonderful, really dark staining color. So yeah, and Dano, if I think you posted them right. So let's get back to our. Whoops, that's got a little bit of the metallic in it. So let's get away from the metallic there. All right, there we've got some of the dark restored there. Where's our banner over here? So some of the other well-known ones, well, Indian yellow, the Egyptian violet, of course. Those are like the two super staining type colors. We did make the discovery that Fanchon red is somehow a red staining color. We thought there was no such thing, but apparently, no, sorry, Naphthol red. Naphthol red is the one. Sorry about that. And here, let's get some more of our darks down in here. And of course, Aussie, we've been continuing with the Landscapes of Middle Earth series. So this was our latest one there. We did some Hobbiton. That followed up the Isengard that we did. We did some Barad-dûr here, and Medjugorje there. And then, of course, we have, well, the Loot Studios, Mermaid, right here. Lots of indigo right here on the rocks there. And then here's our Kieran. This is from Lost Kingdoms. Guess what? More indigo on the rocks, and actually indigo and phthalo blue for some of the darks on that. Okay, we'll continue to add our darks out here. Let's hit this banner here, and it's kind of a bit of a pin line wash too. Not entirely, but sort of. Yeah, Aussie with well, all of the stream times have been very different because of all the chaos here. So, I mean, right now it's 1:13 in the morning. Here, there's been a couple of streams that didn't even start till 1:30 in the morning. I know, well, is it this morning? No, yesterday morning. I think I got to sleep at 7:15 or 7:40, and there was something like that. Some kind of crazy o'clock in the morning. All right, we're going to take this Perline black. Some of this, there is a little bit of our metallic gold in there. And we're just really going to start hitting some of our darkest darks in the metal here. So Dano's got the... oh, wow, we got to get some darks over in here. Dano's was just painting a dreadnought. So I think I know Dano's got some Insta links to that. I'm pretty sure I saw that on Insta. Yeah, let's go back to this guy here again. So again, at some point, my guess is probably maybe Wednesday, possibly Thursday. Those the figures from Lethal Shadows will get here, and then probably Friday, Saturday. Those, if I get the chance to stream, then those will be the figs that I stream. I get everything is stream time, stream days are all subject to change. Nah, Stila. Actually, Stila, just to try and kind of distract and stuff like that. Boy, going back to the very first season of Don Mateo, holy smokes! It had been a while since we actually saw Don Mateo, and it's been a whole lot longer since seeing some of the very first episodes. Oh my goodness, that was very, very different. Well, the same, but also very different. Now here I'm just using this as a bit of a blending brush right here. That's all. Just taking some of the, getting rid of some of the brush strokes there straight away. Here, same there. This also gives me a chance to maybe incorporate some of the brown that just happens to be in the area. All right. Hey, Nishlin, how you doing? Where did that... there you are. There you're hiding. Let me see if we can start to chuck in a little bit of some lighter metals here. Let's make sure we get a little bit of green into this. And poof. Starting to get to some of our true metallic metals here. Now, Stila, so which book did you get to? I assume you got through Fellowship, and maybe you're into Two Towers now. Is there? No, I guess there's not. I thought for sure there was a piece of something in there, but I guess not. I still have not had a chance to read that. I really wish that I could. No chance to even listen to an audiobook version of it. Yeah, there we go. Let's get a little bit more of our lighter golds here too. Now, not going to necessarily just be golds. We'll be getting some of our phthalo green metallic mix in there. There's going to be a lot of different stuff at, but you can see it happens really quick, right? Look at that compared to that. Oh, well, no, you're still in the, you are still way back in the Fellowship then. If you're getting Tom Bombadil songs and Barrow Whites and all that kind of stuff, which is hilarious because on Time Team, of course, what are they always? They're always digging up barrows. Now, I think the, oh yeah, one of the more recent ones, they were up in the, was it the Shetland Islands, I think, and they were doing the Viking boat. Yeah, I think they were doing that one. And let's see how far it was. So we're 38 minutes in. We're only 38 minutes in it. Now that we're starting to add some of the lights here, things are going to start happening really fast. And this is not the lightest metal color either. You have to keep in mind that if you want to get light colors with your metals, the lightest you can go is that iridescent pearl white. You cannot mix white with it or anything like that. Hey, Danny, nice to see you. Nice to see you. All right, now we can hit the edges of this. We'll be getting some of, again, our phthalo green metal mix in here as well. And we'll do this. Some along the edge here. Once we start to get into the lighter greens, that's also going to have a big impact. More of this. So yeah, we've really been able to hammer through this unit. We are, like I said, this is 9 and 10. Yeah, this is 9 and 10. No, this is 11 and 12. What am I talking about? This is 11 and 12. So again, here's the first 5 that we painted on Friday. Did those in 5.5 hours. Did 4 more on Saturday. then did this one Sunday. That puts us up at 10, and now we're doing the final 2. Ranzarok, there's really not any decent metallic oils. Well, sort of. So you can get this. So iridescent pearl white. However, you could also just get the powder, the iridescent pearl white powder, mix it with linseed oil, and make your own. That's a cheaper alternative. You can also do something like this, where you take the Green Stuff World powders, you mix it with linseed oil, and you make your own. And of course, the stuff you're going to get out of the tubes, now the interference colors are nice, but again, you could make those for yourself too. You don't have to necessarily buy those. Those ain't cheap. It is cheaper to actually just buy the powdered pigments and make them yourself. And I've done a whole bunch of, a ton actually, videos and live sessions using doing TMM with the oils. So Danny, I hope that you're doing well. Again, sorry if I missed somebody. Don't mean to miss anybody in the chat there. It's kind of hard to remember what the heck day it is or even what time it is these days. Here, we're going to try and throw a little bit more of our light colors in there. So Roos, there's no measurements. You basically, or you could just use a plastic cup like this. I just throw in the powders, and then I start to throw in some linseed oil, and then I start mixing those together. And when I start to get a decent consistency, one that's looks like it's gonna stick, then I know I'm done. So yeah, no precise measurements or anything like that. So sorry about that. There's really no precise measurements because every single one of those is going to be a little bit different. It's just kind of the nature of the beast with the powdered pigments. There is nothing the same. It's not just the metal ones, it's pretty much all powdered pigments. And Steel, I think you can pretty much confirm that too, right? When you were doing your experiments there, certain powders, they're just really different. You have to add sometimes way more of one thing than another, and it really kind of surprises you what you have to mix in there. Roos, I'm glad. I'm really glad. Now, the other thing you can do, of course, is now this is a more airtight version. So if you're looking for a more permanent solution for that, these work pretty well. There's some that I did, oh my gosh, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and they're actually still good because, well, this is designed to be airtight, right? Yeah, see, and there you go. So Stila can pretty much confirm that the different pigments, they will behave very differently from each other. Again, it's just kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to, and it's not just the oils either. It would do that for acrylics too. Hey, Lamines. Now, Lamines, it's as cheap and as simple as you could possibly imagine. It's just a piece of parchment paper that now I used to blue tack it, or use the glue stick, but now I just clip it to a piece of cardboard. When I'm done, I can just take the parchment paper off there and chuck it in the garbage. So Lamines, hope that you're doing good. But anyways, yeah, actually Kathy was just awake. Hopefully she's able to get back to sleep here. Alright, now I'm going to try and get into some of the lightest of the light metals here. Again, the iridescent pearl white, that's going to be your highlight color. You cannot get any lighter than that. If you mix any sort of white or whatever with your metallics, you will kill that effect completely. Hey, Dino Shepherd, how you doing? Thanks for joining us here. Hey, Blades, thank you so much. I would have sent you a message to say I just wasn't sure if I'd even be able to stream tonight, so that's why I didn't shoot you a message about that. Now, let's see, now it's only 120, well, it's 224 there. So I guess it is possible that you're having to do the late night, the late night thing with the puppy there. I know that 3 is usually the time, but well, this is relatively close to that for you, being 224 out there. All right, Laminas. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining. Um, yeah, not really sure what the rest of the week's gonna entail, but I'll certainly shoot you a message as soon as I know stuff. So thanks so much, Laminas. Appreciate you dropping in as always. See if I can't lighten up that edge here, and then I can always come back with my darker colors. Blades, I swear, uh, I feel like sometimes, in a way, I'm cursing you because you're also in the massively interrupted or no sleep kind of thing. I think we're almost caught up there. So Dino Shepherd, thanks for joining us, and Bitron. Bithron, the buildings are really looking sensational. Geez, Bithron, you gotta feel really good about those. I mean, I'm just, you're playing on a 6x4 table, right? So you must have if not a full 6x4 table already. I wasn't sure if you were gonna make any roads or anything like that also to go with your ruined buildings. And of course, Bithron, if you wanna post your Insta links there. I'm pretty sure you got a couple of links now to your different buildings. Yeah, actually, Lamines, I saw somebody posted speaking of Instagram, I think it was on Instagram, they posted a picture, I guess, of their Jupiter that arrived. So yeah, they got their Saturn Jupiter, or their Elegoo Jupiter. And I know was it last year that thing was a Kickstarter, right? I think so. Let's see. So, hey, Dave, nice to see you. All right, we're just again we're getting into some of our lighter. It's over, so let's do that over here too. Everybody, please check out Bithron's fantastic terrain. Now that actually has a couple of the rivets there. So Bithron, yeah, this is really looking fantastic, and I'm sure that you can't wait to see the full table with all those out there. Now we're gonna probably hit the Phthalo green after a bit. Not gonna do that right away. Think we're gonna wait a little bit on that. Now, here we go. Here we go. So this is the indigo mixed with that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Really amazing, intense, dark bluish metallic color. Look at that. That's all metallic there. Yes, indeed. Oh, well, that sounds good, Dino Shepherd. Dino Shepherd, we love, love, love terrain here. That was part of the plan, was to actually get to do terrain again before all the craziness, the multiple levels of craziness. Here's some of it. There's a couple of those homemade burning Rohan buildings. We even went to some Easterling buildings. Here's some more of our Rohan stuff. There's our windmill. There's our archery range. There's the not so great Hall of Erkenbrand. So absolutely love me some terrain. Just can't play games without the terrain. Well, especially when you got systems like Bolt Action and Lord of the Rings, which rely so heavily on terrain. They really are designed to interact very well with lots of terrain. Well, they're designed that way. Lots of folks just want to be playing out on a pool table with absolutely nothing, or they just treat terrain as only line of sight blocking and it does nothing else, which is kind of a shame. That's not really how game systems were supposed to be. Like I said, a commission figure of a I think it's Old Dominion and some really big character figure that goes on a 100 mil base, and I'm pretty sure it's for Old Dominion. Don't know what that is. We'll find out, I suppose. All right, let's get the. I'll have to come back with some darks in there too. But yeah, mixing this with the indigo creates one heck of a very rich dark bluish metal color. Hey, Dark Dan again. Dark Dan again. We don't want to be hasty, but we're actually trying to get through the last two figures of this unit so that I can actually do all of the basing stuff. It's still to be done on these, so I mean, there's our 5 that we did on Friday in 5.5 hours. Did 4 more on Saturday, and then last night I filmed this one here, so that's number 10. And now we're working on 11 and 12. These are the last 2 guys, and then all that remains. And this will be filmed in the final video of this here to film the painting of this, and then the flock, and then the water effects to see if we can make these guys look like they're actually going, well, through water. Well, Dino Shipper, that sells really good. I know that, let's see, Bithron's got lots of, a whole bunch of BattleTech stuff that he's also been doing. I guess I'm going to let a little bit of the Iridis, Brilliant Yellow Pale into this. Let's see if we can't get something lighter on the skin, something lighter on the axe, something lighter on the boots, maybe. So Dark Dan again. We're making haste when ends go to war. Where is our? There it is. There he is. Don't be hasty. Don't be hasty. Hopefully one day Kathy is able to stream again and she'll be able to show hers, because that's also got a little special saying on it as well. I think we're quite a ways off from that happening though. So yeah, don't be holding your breath on that. Yeah, Bithron, I know. Well, you were slamming away at those, and then you did there was the Lord of the Rings stuff. You were hammering away at those. Then you were doing the terrain on those. So yeah, Dino Shepherd, everything that we're doing here is all painted with the oils from start to finish. That's what makes it so that we can get through this stuff so fast. Instead of fooling around with layers and glazes and all that kind of stuff, we can just get right down to it with the oils. Now here again, we can go with this. And here, let's not have that fuzz on the end of the brush there. Get the top of his tunic. So this is actually the one different guy right here, because he's the only banner bearer. Yeah, Bithron, it really is important. I mean, we talk about it a lot here, don't we? If you just keep doing the same stuff over and over again, you'll inevitably just get tired of it. Even the most interesting army painting project, after a while, you're just going to want to see something different, aren't you? Hey, God's Alter Ego, nice to see you again. All right, there, we'll just pop in a little bit more right there, and then let's get back to our other guy over here. Using that same, almost a tan type of a color. Then we'll lighten it up, I think, either with a little Brilliant Yellow Pale and or the Radiant Violet, just because of reasons. So God's Alter Ego, I hope that you're doing well. Well, Dino Shepherd, now of course I wish I could have known in the beginning, 20 years ago when we first started painting miniatures, that I could have just used my oil paints on them too. But I mean, it's all good. It's all good. We've got, well, I still have tons and tons of painting videos just using the acrylics. All right, you know, I might. Do I have one here? I do have one here. I'm going to see if I can break out a new one here. A little of the brilliant yellow pale into that, and also here, let's get back to our skin tone again. Yeah, well, Dano, it makes, I mean, it makes sense. You've been doing so many sci-fi basing and so much sci-fi sculpting. It makes sense, doesn't it? And Dano, yeah, if you want to, again, show folks some of your sci-fi stuff there, that's just fine. Oh, what the heck. I'll just throw a little bit of the lighter tone onto the beard there just because. Well, Dino, the nice thing is with the oils is that, well, first of all, you don't need all that many colors. I mean, well, even when I was working with acrylics, I never really had more than 20 anyways. But with the oils, I mean, you could start out with just 10 and have yourself a good starting point because it's all about the mixing anyways. And then this is, you know, one of the kind of classic things here with the oils, right? We have our perylene black that we used, and then see all the different radiance mixed with it. So that's just one color, but see all the different colors that can be made out of it. All basically mixing those wet into wet. Oh, no problem there, Dano. No problem. I'm glad that, well, you could finally have a chance to join us here, and hopefully you get a chance to get back to some of your painting, because I know you were really enjoying that. And we've got ourselves a raid from J. Meyer Photos. J. Meyer Photos, how are you doing? And of course, thank you very much for the raid. That is appreciated. If everybody could please give J. Meyer Photos a follow. That's what we love about Twitch, right? That's what we love about Twitch, sharing the love, sharing the follows. So please go do that if you could. So J. Meyer, we're actually painting up, believe it or not, the last couple of guys here. 57 minutes ago, these things were just primer. And thank you so much, Dino Shepherd. I appreciate that. Hello, little hobbits. You guys aren't done lending Huskarls, are you? It's like, dude, wrong game system. Can't you see we're a different scale? It's like, huh. Must be the pipeweed. Thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate that. And oh, thanks for posting that thing to the miniature painting Discord. So here's some of the previous ones that we did. Let's check out the first 5. So we did these 5 on Friday, 5 for Friday, 5.5 hours. We did 4 more on Saturday, in about 4.5 hours. And then this was a 10th one that I did on a video just last night. And now what we're trying to do is get these last 2 guys. Whoops, there we go. There's our guy with the banner, and this guy right here. So the last 2 ones that we need to do. Oh, thanks, Jay Meyer. Appreciate that. Now, of course, sometimes we're having some fun with 72 mil figs. And of course, Jay Meyer, if you have any links to your Instas, Discord, whatever, stuff that you've been working on. I know you just finished your stream, so it's not like you have pictures of that right now. Here's another 3D print. This is from Lost Kingdoms. We did this one up on stream. Again, all painted with the oils. Sometimes, well, we love doing object source lighting, of course, but also sometimes a bust like this is very fun. And we did a whole squad of these guys. This was so much fun. It might have been a little bit of freehand involved, just a tiny bit. You know, whatever. Just a smidge of freehand. Here's some more right there. So we had a blast with these guys, of course. And like I said, we love our object source lighting here. Whether it's off-camera style fiery light like so, or, well, maybe they're carrying it around with them like this Reaper miniature right here. So love us some object source lighting. Thanks, Bithron, for doing that clip. Appreciate that, as always. Oh yeah, let's get the little bit of light in our shield here. So Jay Meyer, what were you What were you doing up on stream there? And of course, again, if you got any uh, links to work in progress stuff and you want to share that, it's all good. And of course, all of this painted with the oils. All painted with the oils. It really does make things nice and easy. Getting some more of our lighter color. Oh, yeah, we got the glove over here. We'll probably come back into this with some more. Yeah, come back into that with some more darks too. Let's get the tunic right here. And this one is different from all the other 11 guys because with the banner and stuff, his torso very different from the rest of them. And of course, we're not working with little layers of paint here. Not working with just little layers. We're going strong because we can just take a blending brush and we'll be showing that soon enough. Some more of our blending brush action. Okay, so I'm kind of similar to Sad. Now, of course, Kathy is the one that plays Diablo in the house. I've never actually played it. Never played that. Now, I think she's a little bit bummed with all the things going on that I think is it Diablo 4 or something like that not long ago emerged. She has not been able to keep up with that. Again, could be totally wrong about that too. Again, because I don't get to play actually any computer games whatsoever. So I'm way behind on all of that. Oh, thanks, Blades. I do believe the last time I got a chance to have a Shamrock Shake was just the other day from Sarge. Thanks, Sarge. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for the rocks. Yeah, that's what you call a little bit of rum and ginger ale on the rocks. Shamrock style. See what I did there? Yeah. See what I just did there? So yeah, never ever played Diablo. That there was too much visual frenzy for me. I think 2013 is the last time I played a computer game. Which, well, I mean, there's pretty obvious reasons because the computers they're both being used here. They're either being used for filming, streaming, editing, uploading, whatever. Which, or I'm using doing graphics on them or Chidu box stuff for STL files. So don't think we'll ever get a chance to do that stuff again. So Sarge, thank you so much as always for that. I really do appreciate that. Which way are we going? That's our metal color over there. Oh, hit some more of it here on his beard again. This guy's a little bit different than the previous one. Ooh, that's got an awful lot of the brown matter in it. Let's see if I can. So a little bit of this here. Then we gotta start getting some of our lighter bluish greens. We haven't really done too much of that now, have we? So I think, well, actually, the one thing that I wish I could do would be to play the tabletop simulator of the War of the Ring board game. I don't know if you can play that one-on-one, just solo or whatever. I don't think you can. I don't think there's an AI for it, unfortunately. I mean, I have the board game, but there's absolutely nowhere that I can set that up and use that. Alright, and well, of course, again, any computers that I have, they're all quite busy doing things. They are already quite occupied. Now here, let's go a little bit more of our blue. So Sarge, how is the work schedule shaping up for the rest of the week for you here? And of course, I know that the hobby purge continues. Alright, well, Steela, you have a good one. Everybody, please give Steela Rebel a follow, because Steela also, again, uses the oil paints. And Steela, if you, I know that you're kind of like me. You stream when you can, when time and circumstances allow. But everybody, please give Steela Rebel that follow so that you can go check out Steela's stream. Well, Dino, that sounds really good. Now I'm hoping that once all of this lunacy ends here, there might be a possibility where I could potentially stream games of Middle Earth strategy battle game. Because, Blades, I really do think that some of the it's almost like I feel like all the equipment I had was for hobbits, and it's like you guys sent me Numenorian recording equipment there, or lights and other things like that, because those just seem so colossal by comparison. It really does. It feels like I was using just Hobbit stuff before, and now all of a sudden there's this gigantic stuff that just rolled in from Numenor. Should this? Yep. It's going to have to get some of that bluish green here. Again, setting up that color temperature difference, so very important. When it comes to the mold lines on these things, that's where I use those sanding sticks that we talk about, especially on the tutorial videos. I think you get a 20 pack of them for $7. Well, that's what it used to be. Now, hopefully Dick Blick still has their $45 free shipping or whatever. It would be very disappointing if that's already ended. If that's the case, then there ain't going to be no Severus Blue here or anything like that. Because I was trying to formulate a cart, and in the checkout area it said it's got to be 60 whatever bucks. Now, I don't know if it's you got to use a coupon code or something like that to get it. I mean, it's not like that's never happened before. Hopefully, again, that is not the case. So whatever the symbol is, I think there's a, well, you can kind of see it there. So whatever that's, it looks like some kind of a cephalopod or whatever, right? Some kind of a squid or whatever. Again, I never read the Song of Ice and Fire books, never watched Game of Thrones, so never actually heard of a Greyjoy before until someone said, have you painted any of the Greyjoy units? And I went, well, that must be something new, because I have no idea what that is. So, well, obviously the Lannisters, they've got the lion, and we painted plenty of those. Well, that's actually one of our new army painting series, right? And doing a little bit of freehand on the cloak on there. And I think, yeah, there you go. Well, there it is. There's your Lannisters. There's your lions. So it's a Kraken. Okay. You know what else is a Kraken? This right here. Yeah. There's Kraken in there. You boil one of these things down, you get yourself Kraken. That's what that's made out of. Most people didn't know that. They thought it was just made out of rum, but no, it's actually a Kraken that you just kind of boil down, and that's what you're left with, and that's what Kraken is made out of. So yeah, I never saw Game of Thrones. Well, I saw the opening credits and about 10 minutes of the first episode, and that was as far as I ever got with it. Never got past that. Alright, we'll take our blending brush to that too in a bit, but we don't have to do that right now. And you can see how fast this has happened, right? Again, this is 1 hour and 10 minutes ago. These lads had no paint on them whatsoever. So blades, I think we've gone through at least 2 boxes of the KD. The beans are gone. I ate all the beans already. There's only one of these left. Ooh, here we go. Yeah, as you can see, there's only one of these left, and it could be possible that I start diving into the Tim Tams as well. It will just depend on how stressful the rest of this week is, and next week. That all that stuff could be gone way faster than what I expected. So yeah, I mean, that was actually, I still don't think I would have seen it even if there was we had HBO. Well, I don't really watch much TV at all, as in practically none, as in pretty much none. Oh, here, let's get some light on the end of the cloak there, and now let's do some lighter stuff on the shield right here. Yeah, blades, what's nice is that the beans kind of go with everything. Actually, today I had to try my hand at making a custom chicken noodle soup, which couldn't have actually any chicken in there because of the whole soft diet thing. Even the vegetables had to be made a certain way to make those softer. So that was the first time I'd ever done that, and I have to say I like the taste of it way better than the canned preservative stuff. Yeah, Blades, sorry that there's, in addition to the other stuff, the fact that now he's kind of doing the not sleeping thing on top of that. It's just, it's kind of weird how, well, even Megan has something that's like, wow, Megan has to deal with that too. So yeah, there was some chicken broth involved, but there can't be any pepper. There's a lot of things that just can't be in there. So then you have to say, well, okay, how the heck can you make it actually taste like something? And then it also has to be different. One of the things we're trying to avoid is, well, tomatoes aren't really actually very good for to have even when things are totally normal. I usually try to avoid tomato-based type things. For me, no big deal, but for her, really, even under normal circumstances, shouldn't be having those. Blades, I think I know what we need to get for you. See, so blades, well, of course, when it gets hot here, you have those fans that I was showing you where it's puts out a little bit of a mist, right? So what you should do is take NyQuil and point that fan at him with the NyQuil mist blowing at him, and that should knock him out, keep him asleep for a while. Yeah, I think that's a plan. I'm sure NyQuil works on dogs. Hopefully, it doesn't have the opposite effect. Then you ain't never sleeping. All right, I think we'll just hit that with our. Again, that's just that's an hour and 14 minutes right there. Yeah, Blades. Well, and all kidding aside, eventually that hound's got to stay sleeping, so it's going to happen one way or another, the easy way or the medicated way. Of course, Who knows? Maybe he'll actually enjoy the NyQuil. All right, now it's easier to do in the wintertime because literally you've got those humidifiers that actually are designed to take, well, that Hall's mentholyptus stuff and just shoot it through the air. So just melt down some or just take some NyQuil liquid, put that in there too. It'll work for the human too. It'll work for dog and human alike. You might you might miss a few alarms, but you'll get sleep. So again, just getting the lighter lights now on that tunic, but it's also a whole different color green. It is a much warmer color green than everywhere else. Yeah, blades, that's a workout. I'm pretty sure that you said, you know what, I could do without that. You're like, okay, a workout is okay. That sort of workout, not so much. So I could certainly see that not being a super popular workout for you. Yeah, now, oh, what's the thing that I got? Oh, Cepacol. Last time I had Cepacol, I was probably in high school. I didn't even know they still made the stuff. So now we have some of that in the medicine cabinet. So now I know, well, I don't need to bring it with me to Adepticon anymore after Armored Wolf's brilliant discovery of the fantastic microphone. Yeah, I won't actually need that at Adepticon now. Oh gosh, no, I think we'll let that get mixed with. Yeah, we'll let the Terra Rosa get in there a little bit more. Something like this. Maybe more right there on the side of his tunic. So here, lots of water effects, because again, the whole idea is this unit is kind of coming out of that marsh. Now we also have to remember phthalo green, iridescent pearl white, and we make ourselves the fabulous, oh, look at this metallic green. I mean, this is basically interference green right here. So you can save yourself some cashola, and you could do something like this. You're going to need the iridescent pearl white anyways, because again, that is your highlight color. But man, oh man, does it make a fantabulous... Look at this. That is a very intense metallic green right there. My goodness. That is unbelievable. And this forms a couple of things. It's reflecting. Look, all this green. This is supposed to be shiny. How in the world does none of that reflect up here? So we're getting the green reflected on our golds. We're going to do it again. Make this where you can see it now. Oh, look at that. Bam. Look at that reflected metallic green right there on the side of that shield. Going to do the same over there. Axe head, not so much. This thing, whatever. Oh, on the shield, that's right. Now, of course, the more of the iridescent pearl white that you add to your mix, the lighter it becomes. And that's the nifty thing. You don't need a bazillion metallic colors. You basically just need the iridescent pearl white. You don't even need the gold metallic paints and all that, or the metallic powders and all that. You don't really need it. You could do just fine with the iridescent pearl white and just let it mix with all of your metal colors. It's really fantastic stuff. We just, remember we did this for the axe heads with the indigo. Now with the green here. Again, on the helmet here, this banner. right here next to the helmet. How in the world does no green, with all this shiny metal, how does no green reflect from that green banner onto his helmet? I know that kind of drives folks nuts, but that's how it is. More green reflection there, because reasons, or raisins. There's always a reason for raisins. Being it's a combo, it's a little bit of a combo. Mostly it happens on, well, I try to make a specific metallic color on the palette like this green. So I'm making this on the palette, but then it does start to just mix, like here. I'm just mixing with what's on there. And, well, same here. The phthalo green slash, well, the metallic phthalo green, I guess you could say. It's just getting mixed here with all the existing colors. The metals can be a little different, just a little bit different. Now here again, we got our super dark metal colors here. As dark as that is, believe it or not, that is still a metallic. What's the hardest thing to do with the metallics just in general with miniatures? It's, I'm guessing the hardest thing is trying to get a nice dark color, but still metallic. Not a problem with the oils. Though you can do this sort of thing with the acrylics as well. There's metal medium. I know that Vallejo makes that, and I guess, what is it, Monument or whatever the heck those guys are, they have one too. I know because that was one of the ones that I was hoping, well, of all of the colors, that was the one I had the most involvement with, because that particular one is near and dear. Really enjoy that. So again, just some of our darker stuff here, trying to clear up a couple of shapes here. I still got to get some of my lighter greens down here, and is it not too much, but we need some. We have nothing there. All right, Sarge, thank you so much as always. And Sarge, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, and I'll shoot you a message during the day. I'll shoot you a message tomorrow and just see how things are going. So thanks for the bitses too. Appreciate that. All right, what's happening here? I'll let that get a little darker too. All right. Some there. Now, do we ever... I never did get the phthalo green. Well, metallic phthalo green. That is on this side. Well, Bithron, that's really fantastic. Bithron, did you decide, as far as the interiors of those buildings with rubble, how extensive do you go with the rubble? Because obviously if there's just too much there, then you can't get a unit in there. Of course, there is, you could make a, now this is something that I was going to do with my bolt action stuff. Bithron was actually make removable piles of rubble that could work with the building. But then if I said, okay, I can't have this much rubble, that could actually take those out of the building and have it just be more open. Obviously, that's not super realistic, but sometimes just for gameplay purposes, right, you can't necessarily have that. Bina, I guess what I try to do is just say when I'm doing it. Like there, I mixed a little bit of thinner, just a tiny bit. But I'll see if there's something, I get maybe some way to get, well, see, that's not even on, I really have to stick it there. So some way to get that on the palette or something. Again, I've tried uh, several times. It's just kind of impossible. And well, I think I tried once and it got knocked over. That wasn't terribly fun. But we'll see what might be possible. There could be some more space freed up, and maybe it works out. All right, well, Blades, you have well, some kind of night's sleep. Just, I think some sleep would be preferable to no sleep, even if it's not the greatest sleep. So I'll shoot you a message during the day just to see how things are going. Sorry I couldn't get you more today. It was the last, this whole last week was very nasty, and today was not another not easy day, and even the nighttime also not super fantabulous. So sorry if I've not had been able to send as many messages there. Yeah, so Bithron, it is that age-old conundrum. Kind of the first time I ever really experienced that was at the game store where they had some 40K terrain, and they tried to actually have rubble inside the buildings, which it looked very nice, kind of realistic, but there was no way to actually really do much inside the buildings. And we're talking about giant buildings here that you could have whole entire battles in practically. So Bina, it would be now. Of course, this palette cam over here is ancient in the extreme. Uh, we'll see if we can use any of the newer ones for that. It certainly would be nice. What was kind of a bummer is I never even had a chance to do any of the experiments. I basically had to give up on the experiments too. Oh gosh, we never did get our lighter greens and lighter stuff over here. So back to the iridescent pearl white. And we are back to AD Creations. AD, how are you doing? So AD, I think I saw that you were working on the Cthulhu box again. So AD, once you're in here, and of course, you can get yourself situated in the chat for sure. Post post your Instagram and such links to that fabulous box that you've been sculpting. Hey, Altair, nice to see you again. I hope that you're doing well. Yeah, Blades, the last 48 hours in particular, really not spectacular. We'll put it that way. Uh, if you want to know more of the gory details, I can fill you in on those. But I figured I'd spare you some of that. So AD, thank you so much for the raid. And everybody, please give AD Creations that follow. Ah, boy, right now, Mr. Altair, well, and it's not the first time. It's happened before with some of the craziness in the schedule, but I could easily fall asleep standing up. And I don't mean like just doze, I mean like full on REM sleep, just standing up for sure. So thank you so much, AD. Appreciate the raid. Alright, Blades. Best of luck trying to get some shut-eye there. So what are we doing here? We are trying to finish off the last, believe it or not, the last two guys of a 12-man unit. Here was the stuff we did on Friday. Boom. 5 of those guys in 5.5 hours. We did 4 more on Saturday in 4.5 hours. We did this in about an 80-minute long video right there. And now we're trying to get the last 2 guys done. So everybody please go check out AD Creation. And AD, definitely pop the link to the box there in the chat because that's really looking fantastic. Of course. Oh, here, let's get some of the Perline Black. I need it right over here somehow. Somehow on that sleeve. I didn't quite get that in there. Okay, there we go. All right. Here, these didn't get quite destroyed by mold lines as they did on some of the other ones where they got annihilated. More dark green over here. Maybe here too. I'll have to come back in with some lights as well. Yeah, I mean here, really would prefer it to be otherwise. Just the current situation requires almost, well, basically to be up all hours of the day and night. Really not a huge fan of trying to go to bed at about 7:20 in the morning. That is not one of those no bueno type of things, for sure. I have to come back in with the lighter lights there too. Whether or not that's going to be more of a metallic, we'll figure that out when we get there too. Well, congratulations, Altair. Congrats. I hope that that means lots of really good things for you ahead. So congrats. And I'm sure you like I said, you're glad to have that in the rear view mirror. So you can move on to other things. Speaking of other things, here's some more of that. Again, that's the Indigo. That is the Indigo from Williamsburg. That is a different Indigo. It's got several different properties to it than, say, the Winsor Newton version. Now, we did do a video on that, so there is a tutorial on that. All right, Bithron. Well, you have yourself a good night's sleep, of course. And I'll try and shoot you a note tomorrow. Now, here's that Terra Rosa again. And again, the terrain really looking fabulous. Really looking fantastic. Boy, oh boy, that's not really all that light, but boy, that's kind of a, compared to the dingy warm green, that looks almost like a bright orangey red by comparison. If you were to compare that to an actual orangey red, this would look dingy. But it's what we talk about all the time. It's context. It's all about context. Your eye looks at something, and it looks at the nearby thing, and it's going to compare the two together. Kind of like you got the cheap, cold, nasty hot dog sitting there on the table. Right next to it, you got the nice, delicious, hot, freshly barbecued steak. You have context now. You can compare them. If all you ever had was the slimy, uncooked hot dog, well, you wouldn't know any better. Okay, well, Bithron, while I make no predictions, I'm really, 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 really hoping, for sanity's sake, that I will be back more at the normal stream times again. And maybe that facilitates that a little bit better for you. Lag, well, having eaten, I remember being a kid and eating the cold hot dogs out of the fridge. Don't know why, but I did. Well, we also didn't have I don't think we had a microwave then either. So I think that also changed things up. Wasn't quite as simple as just grabbing that sucker and tossing it in the microwave and throwing it in a bun back then. A little more troublesome, a little more work. Let me get some of that lighter green in there. That's just stuff that's sitting on the brush, seriously. And I might, yeah, you know what, I will do that. Here, let me use this. We've been doing mostly the indigo, little black spinel, kind of a dry brushy thing here. On the undersides of some of these cloaks here, just to darken those up a bit. That's pretty good. Now here, I think I'm going to try and get me some of that gold chucked in there too. Now, yeah, Bitsron, definitely familiar with that, so I hope that you can kind of survive that. Oh, yeah, we haven't done that. That's why we haven't actually done this yet. So we're taking our Indian yellow here, and that's going to be mixed in with the iridescent pearl white. That is one heck of a gold right there. My goodness. That is a smashing gold right there. Indian gold. I'm telling you, if I was more nefarious, I would just take all these mixes right here that people could do themselves for, well, practically free, and just make tons and tons of money selling Indian gold, Egyptian violet metal, or whatever. Oh my gosh, think of all the colors that we could just mix so easily here, put them in a nail polish container and say, that'll be 30 bucks. Log it, it's very, very simple. There's no process at all. I just have a little, well, just a little thing like this, not even, actually it's a little China container, and it's a Winsor Newton brush cleaner. Oh look, it's for dried acrylics too, but also oil color, not hazardous, no vapor. Kathy uses this too on her acrylic stuff, and that's it. Now of course with the oils I don't have to do that right away. Sometimes I forget and I just clean the brushes the next day. But it does just fine on the acrylic stuff too. And that's all I do is I just clean them out with that real quick and boom, that's it. Because I have all of about 5 or 6 minutes to clean brushes by the time I'm done here, and then I have to go off and be doing other things. And that is a nice, simple way to get that done. And it's really not terribly expensive. Heck, it also gets glue out of brushes. It gets basing material out of brushes, so it's really it's powerful stuff. Really works well. And everybody, please check out AD's link there to what AD was working on the stream. That fabulous Cthulhu theme box. Oh, look at all those lovely greens in there. So see what we got. We have gold, that like literally gold, a very bright gold. Then we have the phthalo green, right? Because it's right next to this. We have bands of different colors and such. Very fun. The axes have more of a bluish tint because that's where we mixed in the Prussian. No, sorry. Well, we could have mixed Prussian blue as well. We did that on some of the other ones, but this was using the indigo. The indigo blue, and of course that's the Williamsburg indigo. Just a bit more intense. Well, maybe not a bit more, maybe a lot more intense than, say, the Winsor Newton version. Now here, actually, Bina, there's some. Oh, this is just kind of mixing. Here, a little bit of wet into wet. You saw, I just, I had to mix this here, right? I had to take the iridescent pearl white and contact that with the Indian yellow just to get that together. And now I can just bring it over here and let it do whatever it's going to do. I see we need to give this lad some eyeballs over here. So yeah, the iridescent pearl white can just, you mix it with so many different things. It is so incredible. All right, more of our light here. Yeah, let's get these. So These are Krakens then. Okay, good to know. Hey, Space Toy. Nice to see you again. If everybody could please give Space Toy a follow. Of course, Space Toy, I should chuck your latest Insta links there into the chat so people can see all the really nifty paint work that you're doing. So everybody, please check out Space Toy's Instagram because there's some really spectacular miniatures bust, large scale stuff there too. Alright, we got ourselves some decent light. Let me see if we can really give this guy some lights for his eye. Okay, got some there. Then again, I gave up on the brush soap a while back. I did used to use that way back in the day, kind of in the early days of painting. Just sort of gave up on that. It just kept leaving a residue in the brush, which wasn't super handy. So yeah, I just kind of gave up on the brush soap stuff. Ah, boy, I couldn't tell you the last time I used any of that. Ah, man, yeah, I'm struggling trying to remember when I last might have used that. It's been a long time. And everybody, please check out the link that Space Toy posted there. Space Toy's fabulous stuff. So Space Toy, we're trying to finish up the last 2 figures of this unit. We've already painted 10 of them on stream and in a video. So here is the 5 that we did on Friday. Those are all in 5.5 hours. Did 4 more on Saturday. Did this one on Sunday as a tutorial, and now we've got 2 more. That's these guys. And 1 hour 41 minutes ago, these had no paint on them at all. 0 paint. But now we got a plus here because we got Arathu. Arathu, how you doing? How you doing? Ooh, let's see. I missed Kathy by about... actually, when I first started the stream, she was actually still awake at that time. So, well, hopefully she's going to be asleep now and stay asleep. But Arathu, I hope that you're doing good. It's always nice to see you in the streams here. No problem, Space Toy. So, Arathu, I hope that things are off to a good start for you this week. And, well, it's well into your Tuesday. We're a couple hours into Tuesday here. And we'll do a couple more lights on the belt buckles here because of buckles. We'll do AD. It has not been a fantabulous couple of days here, and tonight was kind of very rough, so we kind of need for to get some sleep to be able to just get through tomorrow. So much appreciated. You know what? What the heck? I'm gonna do it. Get some tiny bit of terror. We'll send it. Well, maybe a little more. See if I can't get a bit of a light edge right here on the poof there. And a little more right there. And some right. Okay, so that works out now. The beard. I'll try brown matter. We'll mix the radiant violet with the brown matter, and we'll see what happens here. See how that works. Oh, that's good. That sounds good around that. Not too hot is always fantastic. So these are the last 2 AD. Again, we did the first 5 on Friday, did 4 on Saturday, did that 1 on Sunday, and here are the last 2. That'll give us a dozen. And I really want all of these guys done because the next video that I have to film is painting the tray, then doing the water, well, then doing all the foliage and some other stuff, and then do the water effects. So I had it all 12 of them painted so that we could get to that. And I might also do some magnetization. Actually, I might magnetize those before, well, in the process of doing all the other stuff. So it might be some magnetization going on there. So I do think one of the things that, well, I've observed here is that pressure changes, which always kind of had weird effects on Kathy's joints and stuff anyway, because that happens. I mean, some people, that's just how it is, right? When there's weather changes or pressure changes, right now, that is very disastrous when that happens. So, hopefully, I just wish it could all just be one constant thing. No, AD, that's part of a tutorial series because the original portion of that was done as a tutorial. The thing with all the reeds and the 3D printed bits. And then actually, well, this was, as you can see here, this is a new tutorial for the Patreon page. That's going to go up maybe tomorrow, something like that. Because ever since I did, well, there's a couple of these that I've been doing lately here. Let me get this one. So this technically actually was 4 different videos. There were 2 that were very specific to the miniature, and there were 2 that were very specific to the base. One sculpting the base, and then the other one doing all the water effects and foliage. And it's kind of I like to do those because this way you get to see many different skills and disciplines, right? I mean, kind of like your box, right? Your box involves different materials, different kind of skills and different combos of things, right? And of course, well, we painted 11 of these guys on stream, and we painted 11 of them on stream. I want to have some parts of the process kind of recorded where it's more of a tutorial as opposed to just a stream. And also it does let me do some more, well, experimentation. No doubt about that. Yeah, we can still get lighter with our green too. Pearline black here. I was getting a little too light. Also, too, the base is just it's a little bit too big to fit on stream, and I'm going to be using the Green Stuff World liquid pigments, and that's kind of hard to manage on stream because, well, they're not oils. So that's another reason why that's also going to be a actual tutorial video. All right, here, let's. Can I go a little lighter on the edge of this? I guess so. Now, speaking of lighter, we'll just take this here, and then I'm going to grab me some of the white. That will be our fast matte white here. Oh, thanks, AD. Much appreciated. Here, I'm just going to drop that on there. So thanks for the shout out on the Patreon page. You do that $15 Army Painter pledge. Well, good luck trying to binge watch all of that. Because not only, well, geez, we have to be closing in on 1,200 hours of videos. There's at least 20 hours of new videos every month. Even with all the insanity going on here, there's still been 8 videos already done. And there's still a few days left in June here. And I try to have the biggest variety of stuff like this. I had never done anything like this before. I had no idea how this was going to turn out. And I never actually had a chance to do the greenish TMM like this with this type of reflected green in it before either. So I always try to do new things on videos, stuff that just hasn't happened, I haven't had a chance to do before. Because otherwise, I mean, if I'm just doing things that I do all the time, over and over again, oh look, another video on how to paint a sword, yay. No, I try to also put those skills into as many different combinations for you. So, okay, we've learned how to sculpt with Daz Air Dry Clay, or this was from one of my color theory and oil videos. So I try to use things like this. Where's our card here? Yeah. So there's your radiant blue mixed with the perline black, and it really looks so much like this. That's what basically made me say, you know, I'm going to use this as my primary combo here of the light and the dark. That's what it's going to be. This was in one of our color theory and oils videos. So like I said, I try to combine those things as much as possible. Thanks, AD. Yeah, well, I learned a lot as I was printing those too. Those reeds and stuff. Well, basically everything I print, doesn't really matter who makes it. There's a lot of times where you go, oh, okay, well, now that I know this, maybe I won't snap the legs off of it the next time I print it and try to remove the supports. So there's been a lot of hard lessons learned, especially because the printing has been so disrupted lately. I haven't been able to just kind of take things off of the supports like I normally would. All right, here's our task guy. So he's really good there. We're going to get some more darks on this guy here. We have some more of that to do. Let me see what I can do with the brightest, cooler green over here. See what that's going to do on the banner in a few spots. Now with each of those brush strokes, we're picking up what's already there, which means I have to go back and get some new fresh paint here. Like so. And then I might actually still come back in with some of the perline black and do some darks on the banner. When in doubt, you must add some darks too. Never actually did get that sleeve. Get more of that lighter green. So now 1 hour 52 minutes. Getting through our last two guys here. Like so. And thanks so much, Armored Wolf. Appreciate that. And of course, you can see all of the finished stuff on the Instas. I think, oh yeah, I just, speaking of, so this is one of my latest army painting series right here on the Patreon page, and I just put the pictures of this up on the Instas. Guess what? Lots of perline black. Now this one here, obviously this is a non-metallic, but we did lots of the rust effects here because I hadn't really had a chance in any recent videos to really get into things like rust. I think the most recent series, it had some verdigris effects. Really not too much with the rust. So I hadn't done rust in a while. So I thought, well, let's give that a try. All right, let's get some of this spread into the banner here. We're going to have to, oh yeah, we got some brushstroke management to do in there for sure. Don't think we can make that really much lighter. And of course, trying to not basically highlight shadow areas or lighten things up to such a degree that normally are just in shadow areas. What else with this banner here? Again, I can just here slam some of those lighter colors on there. We'll just grab something to use as a blending brush like this, I suppose. So instead of cleaning it necessarily, I'll just do this. See, I'm just going to take the paper towel here and just wipe that off. And then I'm just going to tap, tap, tap away here like that. Same over here. So see, we had all these brush strokes here. All of a sudden, we're not mixing any new color. All we're doing is just kind of getting rid of the brush strokes. I might go in there with a darker perline black, probably will. But right now, what I'm doing is just getting some of the brush strokes under control here. This is what kind of gives it that old airbrush look without having to deal with an airbrush. Alright, we'll throw some of our... Yeah, a little more light down here. What's going on there? That's going to need some dark in there. What about this? Alright, just pulling some this way. Oh gosh, I never really did get the lightest light here. Okay, no problem. Got some of that sitting right over here on his tunic. This is the one different pose. Usually with these units, I believe you get 4 poses and there's 3 of each pose. But sometimes there's a unit attachment, like a sergeant, a captain, whatever. And then sometimes there's a banner, and in this case it's a banner. I don't think it doesn't necessarily mean that the banner does anything. Not quite like Lord of the Rings, where a banner, oh my gosh, is a huge thing. Alright, so here's again more brushstroke management right along this. Some more there. Yeah, alright, now also some buckles here. Let me see, it's got a little bit of the Indian yellow in it. It's got a little bit of the radiant violet in it. A little bit of the brilliant yellow pale. There's still some pre-glaze in there. That would be our perline black. Yeah, we'll let the edge of that get just a smidge lighter. Throw some lights here on the edge of the glove. Like so. I'll let that get lighter, and I'm just going to take some of that, throw it on here. I was tempted, I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I was kind of tempted to do the whole mud spatter thing because, well, they're walking through a marsh, so I might still do that. Could be yet another thing that I'd try to do in that video. I think it would still fall under, well, it's still going to fall under the basing techniques. I also want to try and use basically some unwound string to try and make some homemade reeds, that tall grass stuff. Don't know if it's going to work. It could fail horribly. Like I said, we experiment a lot. We do a lot of experimentation. Alright. Shield. Don't need to really do too much more there. Now let me see if I can get some of the really lightest lights here on the helmet. And all I can do is use the iridescent pearl white. I can't mix any kind of opaque stuff with it whatsoever. It just totally kills the metallic effect. I think, well, I guess I could get some lighter stuff on the axe. Yeah, I could still do that. Boy, does it have to be thicker? Sometimes you end up having to change the consistency of your mix. You think, okay, I got to mix this thicker to make it stick here. Sometimes that's not the case. See, there I was able to get that light color stay up there because it was thinner. We'll do some more of our lighter metals here. What about also on this Kraken here? Now, if I get too much of the lighter metals here in these crevices, it's just not going to be terribly convincing that that's actually sitting in a shadow area right there. And of course, sometimes we're just limited by what happens with the mold lines. Try and lighten up this right along the edge there where that lighter green is. Now, see, that's actually mixing with some of the phthalo green slash metal mix that we made there. Oh, yeah, here's another plate. Now, okay, I'm going to go thicker with this. See, it kind of sticks right there. It's weird. I almost was ready to have that not stick and have to go thinner. And thicker or thinner doesn't necessarily mean practically just liquid or practically right out of the tube thick. It could just mean one's been thin 50%, the other one's been thin 10 or 20%. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's this gigantic difference in the consistency between one and the next. Okay. Now this obviously is going to catch more light just where it is. You can see it's in this outer fold here. There's more light catching on it. So the gold's here, trying to catch more light. I mean, obviously up here is okay, but down in there, not quite so much. Now the brooch here, I guess. Get a little bit of reflected light there. Maybe also here as well. Ah, bingo. That is it. See that little dot right there? That little dot, so important. Now, I hope also that the printing has been going well for you too. You never know when the printer is just going to throw a weird curveball your way. Now, so AD, all of the song stuff, it comes with the sculpted on stuff. You gotta see the Lannister with the lion thing. I understand why they do it. It makes it a lot easier for people. And see it's on his chest right there. I wish they wouldn't do it. It would be way more fun for me to just freehand that stuff on there and give me some more options. But you know how it is. Much would rather just freehand that on there myself. Wait a minute. A little light right there. Same over here. Okay, now get this stuff out of here, and let me see if I can't take either the indigo and or the perline black here. And possibly go again, because there's another mold line that went right through this here. I really tried to do what I could to get rid of that. Again, use the standing sticks as best as I could to do that. We've got these little folds coming out from there. we're just going to darken this a little bit so you can see just how careful we are, right? Hey, end time. Nice to see you, end time. Whoops, wrong one. Let's try this one here. So yeah, we got those darker colors we just threw on there, and we're just gonna kind of go tap, 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 push those around like we do. Just like so. And we'll darken this down too. Yeah, why not? So again, I'm just going to take this darker color. We're just going to spread that around. Spread this all around. And there you have it. So see how that just changed everything in no time flat. So end time, I hope that you're doing well. Happy Tuesday morning. Because, well, it's Tuesday morning here. Very early on a Tuesday morning. Actually, AD, how far are you along on that box? I was wondering if it's one of those things where you might not have too many more sessions left before the box is complete. And then I guess after the box is complete, what's going to be the next big project after the box is complete? Now this is another one where you said, remember there was some weird brush strokes here that we had to manage. Well, that's what we've done here. Kind of managed some of those brush strokes. And again, doing the stippling here. Just imagine if banners were that easy, right? Well, they can be. They can be just that easy. You can make short work of them just like that. Alright, we'll get the dirt across. Right there, letting the lighter color and the midtones mix with that. Again, that's that darker. Now some of the indigo, some of the perlene black. That's the really dark green. It's not black. It's not black. It's just a dark green. I suppose I'll maybe let that be a little bit darker up there. Where's my blending brush here? Hey, KT Bird, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Well, glad you're able to have a safe landing, for sure. And what we're trying to do here is finish off the last two guys from a 12-man unit of GreyJoys. Here's the first 5 that we did on Friday. Painted up all 5 of those in 5 hours. Did 4 more on Saturday, about 4.5 hours. Did this video on Sunday for number 10. And now we just got these last 2 guys here. Last 2 guys. And then we can get into the the video where we're going to do all of the final basing stuff. Well, AD, I hope that you can find something that's going to be really fun for you. Really fun that is, I don't know, maybe something a little bit different maybe from things that you usually do. That can kind of get the batteries recharged a little bit. Guess we'll try and get some dark around that. Maybe even here too. Again, I can always come back and hit that with my blending brush. So KT, I'm glad that you were able to land, fly back, okay, nothing too crazy. Gee whiz, it's been years now since I was last on a plane. That's for sure. I know that the level of challenge of doing that has been uh, raised over the last few years, no doubt. Now, I'm glad that you're back, and sorry for the delays. I'll let that get darker too. And then once again, grab Mr. Blending Brush. Even though it's got paint on it, I don't care. If I really felt the need, I could just wipe that off with the paper towel as well. Now, AD, I hope that you can get back to that. I look forward to being able to do my usual sort of Saturday challenge type stream where I can have a whole bunch of figures and then just work on those, kind of like the old days. You know, I need to let this get varied as well, because I miss those Saturday streams where I could really hammer away at a unit for a while, and then, well, actually have some chow and then continue that process. Now, all the rum chata AD, that's, you ain't kidding about that. Actually, I wouldn't, at this point, I wouldn't mind an intravenous of the rum chata, but of course, then you can't really enjoy the flavor of it, right? I mean, that is just such amazing stuff with such spectacular flavor. My goodness. And I'm trying to remember the last time I had it. It's been quite some time. A little bit of that phthalo green metallic right there. Just, I mean, got the metal thing sitting right next to all this green. How could it not? How could it not do that? Let me get. There you are. See, I gotta get some more dark down in there, and I'll just maybe use some of the Van Dyke brown for that instead of all just the indigo and the phthalo or the perylene black, which is we always call that we refer to it as indigo green, of course. Okay, there's just some areas down here that were just hard to get to. Just gonna shove our brush down in here. Yeah, well, and of course, chocolate covered raisins. Landrast was kind enough to send big old container of those, but things were stressful, and those went away really fast. They did not. They were fantastic, but they didn't. They did not endure for very long. Well, yeah, we never object to cookies. Well, I sure as heck don't. I know maybe some people they might get particular about their cookies or whatever, but cookies are cookies. Now, KT, hopefully well, when you flew, you've experienced a couple of different types of flying, haven't you? Yeah, I think there's one this type of flying you're okay with, but that other type of flying that you did the other day, that's probably not. Unless somehow you suddenly achieved superheroes or status or something like that. All right, let's do. Oh, wait. There we go. All right. Alright, this still, it's not quite a pure brilliant yellow pale, now, or a iridescent pearl white. Now I gotta try and get something in with his beard there. Now I think I've got just a little bit of the Fanchon red left here. Yeah, I might try to give that beer a little bit more of a orangey look to it here, just because it's just mixing in with everything. And of course, detail-wise, sometimes with the mold lines and things, that can be messed up here. Ooh, boy, that might be too much brilliant yellow pale there, but you never know. Let's try it. Let's give it a shot here. No, I'm going to grab a little bit of my Fanchon red. First is Mustachio here. We've pretty much done this on at least 3-4 other ones, maybe more. I guess I'll try and go a little bit lighter. Burnsy has arrived. Inquisitor Burnsy, how the heck are you doing? Nice to see you too. Thank you so much for the raid. If everybody could please give Burnsy a follow, that would be sensational. So Burnsy, how the heck are you doing? If you're stuck behind ye old Adwell or something like that, I'll try to make sure that you can get through that and get on in here. And of course, Burnsy, you know, as always, if you got some Insta links or anything like that that you wanted to share. So Burnsy, nice to see you, and thanks so much for the raid. We're actually trying to finish off the last two guys here from a unit of 12 that actually all go on this movement tray right here. This is for Song of Ice and Fire. So these are all 3D printed reeds, cattails. Oh, you can see the cattails back here. Some tree stumps and other such things. And we've been painting a whole bunch of these. So this is one of the ones we painted on Friday. There's again another look at the reeds and the cattails. Here's a look at what we painted on Friday. 5 of those guys with the oils in 5.5 hours. We did 4 more on Saturday. We did this one on Sunday, a quick little tutorial, and now just hitting the banner bear and 1 more of these guys. 1 more of these guys here. And then we're going to do some flock and foliage and other things, and then some water effects. Because we want these guys basically walking up out of a marsh or something like that, walking up onto maybe some high ground. Yeah, and Inquisitor Burnsy, they're all from Make It Epic Basing. I also have bits from Pelennor. Those are really good too. But man, the Make It Epic stuff, I mean, it is just so colossal. Let me see if I can find here some other ones that have the Make It Epic Basing bits. There's that's really fun, right? More of the stumps, the branches, these plants right here, really fantastic. And then, oh, here we've got this one. I think these are the juniper trees. Yeah, those are the juniper trees right there. I mean, makes a fantastic setting, doesn't it? All I literally had to do is bulletin board cork, throw a little bit of texture paste in there, hot glue these 2 guys, boom, done. That's it. Burnsy, if you have any pictures of that, I think people would really love to see that too. Oh, there's a couple of these that actually need their foliage now. So here's another one. Get more of those Make It Epic bits right there. And of course, they also have sci-fi stuff, so it's not just fantasy type things. There can be a little bit. You have to treat those with some respect when you go to print those buggers. That's for sure. I think here's some. Oh yeah, here we go. There's some more on this with the armored wolf flower and grass stuff. So this is what that other elk is going to look like. It's going to have some foliage on it for sure. And again, everybody please give Burnsy that follow, and Burnsy's going to be posting some stuff for you in a second here. But while that's happening, please be sure to give Burnsy that follow. Now, there's a little piece of fuzz on the end of that brush. We'll get rid of that. Going to try and lighten this. And now I'm going to come back in the other direction. Let's grab the brown matter, I suppose. Oh, and actually, oh, on Time Team. That's right, on Time Team. One of the things that they were, well, the thing they were researching was it was a printing press. They printed silk dress or silk fabric back in the back in the late 1800s. The place shut down a little bit after First World War, and one of the things they were talking about, well, was indigo. They were talking about dyeing silk, so indigo was one of them, and then madder, the madder plant was another one. So, and that's what we're just using here, actually some brown madder. If everybody could please check out what Burnsy just posted. So that's some of the Make It Epic basing bits on some Pathfinders, it looks like. Yep, on some Pathfinders. So everybody please go check that out for sure. Yeah, Burnsy, they're just so darn amazing. And of course, I actually printed out some of the trees. And now what I haven't had a chance to do is scale them up or down. I wasn't sure if have you mirrored those at all? Because one thing they told me, they said, you realize you can just mirror these things and you're going to get twice as many bits out of them because it will be different. So I haven't actually tried to mirror things yet. And then is it the fir trees? No, it's the cedar trees. That's it. Inquisition. So you got them printed up there. Oh, let's throw some more there. Now I also got the Make It Epic. They sort of like the almost like the desert style rock that you might see in a more of a Grand Canyon type environment. That's going to be for the glittering caves for my Eowyn, well, diorama. I have 2 or 3 of the Eowyn, so one I wanted to do as a diorama, the other one I'll just do as a regular miniature, so that I've got that for more gameplay style purposes. Yeah, Burnsy, I think I was sent a sonic cleaner at the beginning of the whole printing journey. Never actually used that yet. Well, I used the Soraya Smoky Black, which kind of changes the cleaning process just a little bit. It's not quite like the usual. So we got some of the sci-fi stuff like the sheet metal and everything. That I have not had a chance to try yet. The blasted concrete stuff, I guess because I always do the Sculpey, I just I haven't delved into the blasted concrete stuff yet, because that's pretty darn easy to make out of the Sculpey. I used to do the sheet metal with plastic card, but I'm all out of plastic card. And well, again, with the 3D printing, I can print as many as I need, whatever size are needed. Now, Burnsy, is the Tau, is it a new army, or are you just adding some new stuff to a current army? And I guess there was, well, an update to Chaos, so I don't know if that created any chaos with your stuff. So it's a new army. Hey, Gregory, nice to see you again. Boy, Gregory, it's been a while. I hope that you're doing okay. Here, let me get this stuff out of the brush here. Out of that brush. Here, let's get the couple of more lights here on top of the banner. Well, that's going to be very cool, Burnsy. Yeah, it's extra fun when you can really have just a color scheme that you love that is kind of based on something that you really like. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Oh, with that, I'm going to let a little bit more of the lighter color creep through here. And then I'm just going to take a blending brush, but one where we've actually cleaned off some of the junk here that's on the brush. Gregory, there's nothing to be scared of. Nothing to be scared of, especially if you just kind of take it easy on yourself and just use a few colors. You could just take one light color and one dark color, and that's it, and nothing else. You could just use Van Dyke Brown and white. Literally those two colors. Take it easy on yourself. I mean, you might want to do that with acrylics. You know, if you're just getting started with the miniatures, why would you want to have a bazillion colors to worry about? Said, nah, I'm not going to worry about all those colors. I just want to kind of experience the oils, just get used to them. There's nothing to be scared of. They're super, super forgiving. If you don't like what you got, you can take your makeup sponge. I mean, I could wipe almost all of the paint off of this guy. If I really felt like I said, I wanted to be pink and orange, could just wipe off all the paint or just paint right over the top of it. Well, Burnsy, well, heck, if you wanna share the pictures of your Sigmarines there, and that their special color scheme, I'm sure people will get a kick of seeing those very special Sigmarines. And yes, that's what I like to call them there. Yes, all the way back to the beginning, and Sigmarines. I was a little bit bummed when all of the chaos happened, and I wasn't able to get some of the stuff from the Dominion box prepped. I was looking forward to maybe having some of those to paint up on stream and potentially doing well, and or TMM, right? Either way, and everybody please check out what Burnsy has posted there. Now here, this busted with this one of our tutorials right here on the Patreon page. Since it's so symmetrical, I took it down the middle. One half is in non-metallic, the other half is in true metallic, and it's all with oils. Again, one half is non-metallic, the other half is true metallic. I wanted to show that what matters is the reflected light, the reflected colors, the edges, nice crisp edges, and lots of contrasts there of all types. Edge contrast, value contrast, all those types of contrast. And like Dano was saying there, really, it's no big deal, nothing to be afraid of. Just take whatever a junky miniature you don't care about, or a bones miniature, or just maybe some leftover bits that are still on a sprue. Just paint them on there. That way, it won't matter. Yeah, if it doesn't work out, again, you're just painting something that was just sitting on a sprue, and you didn't care about it anyway. So nothing to be scared of. And we'll do there a little bit of light along that edge. What about this sleeve? Maybe a little lighter here. Again, nobody's watching you except me, because I have cameras in everybody's house that's using the oils. So I'll be the only one there to judge you harshly. That's what happens when you join the Linseed Brotherhood. Cameras are installed in your home just to make sure that you're not backsliding into acrylics or something like that, because we don't want that to happen. I try and get a little bit more of my... No, there's actually a little bit of trim along the sleeve here that I haven't seen on any other guy in this whole unit so far. But we'll just do what we can with that. Alright, more over here. Yeah. A little more there. Like so. I'm going to try a little bit more light down here. Now, I want that to get too yellowish. It's a little bit of a balance here. We want that to have sort of a dirty-ish look to. Oh yeah, I wanted to get some more darks on the tunic there, sort of like what we have there, and also potentially a bit more of a red. Well, that's first we got to get the metallic out of there. And yes, you can do the metallic stuff with the oils, no problem at all. I do that all the time. Absolutely all the time. In fact, it's way cheaper than trying to do that with any of the acrylic stuff, that's for sure. Alright, now we can maybe get a little smidge of our dark restored here. That's something. There we go. It's like there's a little something missing here. See how easy it was to make a little bit of a shift, not just in the value but also in the color. That's got a little bit of a reddish brown mix in there now, and that really changes that up. And you don't need a ton of oil paints. Gee whiz, how many did I have for the first 2.5 years? I had 10 or 12 colors. I mean, I only actively use about, I don't know, 12 or 13. That's about it. And of course, well, I mean, look at this. Using the exact same paints we are right now. We did this last Thursday. Thursday before that, same perline black and Indian yellow that we're using. Here's our Barador. Oh look, here's a Medjaceld again. The same brushes, same paints, same everything on these little illustration boards there.
So say we all.
Thank you so much, Nico. Appreciate that, Nico. Thanks a bunch. And of course, I always recommend that you start out doing color charts like these. Now this is perline black with all the different radiants in there. There's a lot of different ways of doing the color charts, but they make very handy references down the line. Really handy references. All right, that's the green. A little bit of the indigo. And we'll just darken this down. So thanks, Nico. I hope that you're doing well. And there we go. And thank you so much, Armored Wolf, for posting a link to the Patreon page. Again, the Army Painter Pledge level, if you do that, you get every single video that I've ever made. You're also going to get yourself some Drax. There's Drax. Burnsy, I almost thought that you were Drax for a second there. I looked up and, oh, no, it's not Drax. But that's Drax. And Drax, look at this. Drax has been here from the very beginning, because that's 27 months of subs right there. Thanks so much, Drax. Appreciate that. If everybody could please give Drax that follow, that would be sensational. Because, well, Drax also uses the oils. So, Drax, were you still doing your sort of cracker in between the main servings there, or were you back to the vamp counts now? Because I know you had kind of gone off into some limbo figs, right? And look at this. Just when Drax comes in, you get yourself a Lethal Shadows Gaming. You're going to be seeing a bunch more Lethal Shadows Gaming miniatures. Now they're going to be more Egyptian themed, but this was our latest one, right? This was pretty fabulous right here, right? Absolutely love those figures. And speaking of getting stuff printed, Lethal Shadows can meet your printing needs. Well, Nico, there's just well, I mean, you can tell by that surgery fund thing there that things are not in the normal situation. So I pretty much just stream when I can, and it can be all hours of the day or night. I would prefer to do my normal time, my normal schedule, but that's kind of how things have been basically since May. I'm hoping that maybe that will end at some point, but yeah, this is really not the ideal time. It's fantastic for all of our European friends, and well, not too bad for our Aussie friends either. So that's the side benefit there is that our European friends, they don't have to be up at weird o'clock in the morning to be able to join. And Lethal Shadows, yeah, if you want to pop a link to the dice that you got going on there too, in addition to all the printing service stuff. Oh, thanks, Lethal Shadows. Yeah, I thought maybe this week I could actually get to do some normal time streams, and then some major downsides and downturns that said nope, you ain't doing that. So everybody, again, please give Drax that follow. Also follow Lethal Shadows, because well, Lethal Shadows also does the streaming too, in addition to all the fine printing service. What are we gonna do? You know what? I'm just gonna go and do something like this. There we go. So Drax, these are actually the last two guys of that 12-man unit. These are the last two guys, because I think, Drax, you saw the first set of 5, maybe? That was these guys right here. I think you saw those. So that was 5 of them we painted up in 5 hours. Then we did another 4 on Saturday. Then I did this video on Sunday. And these two I was actually saving. I thought I was going to be doing the More Than Dice podcast on Sunday. That didn't happen. They had Big Jim on there because Big Jim's got a charity thing going on. So we're just painting these up now. Yeah, Lethal Shadows right now, everything is all, uh, well, kind of the way I was describing it to you the other day. It's still very much in that kind of a mode right now. We're just hoping for some kind of a relief here at some point, and it kind of has to happen soon, actually, because I will be face down on the floor pretty soon if things don't start to change trajectory. So, looking forward to the Egyptian theme stuff there, Lethal Shadows. Ah, see that different? Look at that. There was a whole lot of nothing happening there. All I had to do was just drop in a little bit of my lighter metal, let it mix in with what's already there. Same thing up there. What about this axe head over here? I don't know. Let me see what I can do over here. Let's see. Oh, that's right, Drax. You've got the LVL stuff. That's right. It's weird. I always keep thinking of Las Vegas Open as being in February. I'm not sure why. And Lethal Shadows, I hope that Comic-Con is going to be a massive... Well, the other shows, too, will all be massive successes. So late January, okay. All right, Dano, thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate that. And of course, Dano, if you wanted to post that link to your Cults 3D on the way out there, so that people can see what you're doing, basing possibilities there. Ooh, let me see if I can't. I'm just trying to get edge on this. I've got some lighter stuff going on here, but no real edges. We need to get some edges on this. Yeah, Drax, believe it or not, of all the things that I would like to do there, it would be the Lord of the Rings tournament, because I'm pretty sure that for some reason, just like that other convention, they have a really big Lord of the Rings tournament there. Unless I'm thinking of it all wrong. Unless I'm thinking about that completely wrong, maybe. So, Daniel, you have a good one. Okay, now I feel like I got some good stuff happening on the shields right here. All right. Ooh, let's bring a little bit more of our light stuff here. Again, that is our metals there. Now, yeah, depending on whatever, maybe with the Egyptian stuff that's coming this way from Lethal Shadows, maybe on one of those we do TMM and another one we do non-metallic, just so that people can kind of see how similar miniatures or miniatures potentially from a faction could be done. Oh, that's what the heck this is. All right. As always, when you're painting the 12th guy out of a 12-man unit, you start to figure out that's what the heck that thing is supposed to be. Well, thanks, Dano. Appreciate that. I know that it's been crazy, crazy busy for you there. What is going on? So that's what's happening here. Okay, well, good to know. Because, well, obviously, we've done a ton of Egyptian-themed stuff on the channel here. Never gets old. Never, ever gets old. Love doing me some Egyptian stuff. I'm taking some of the brown matter again here. And we had added some lights here. I want to see what happens. If I can darken this down, because, well, again, we've got at least 3 of this pose here. And I try to make a little bit of a difference in between each one. I don't, we're not going to be sweating the whole, each guy has to be exactly the same color. Because nobody cares, nobody notices. And they're all going to be ranked up on the tray too. That is when they're not being removed from the tray. So there's that too. And of course, well, gold just has so many neat reflections in it. Should be very fun. What do we want to do with this boot right here? And perhaps a little more dark in here too. Yeah. Let's throw that in here. A little bit more of our dark. I'm going to do that here too. Instead of trying to do the highlights, I'm going to actually go over to the Van Dyke Brown. Van Dyke Brown, trying to get some dark in the braids here. Bit of a challenge. Alright, Lethal Shadows, you have a good one. Let's throw some of our light over here. Same over there. And we're going to do a bit there too. So good night there, Lethal Shadows. You have a good one. Alright, we'll do some more here. I'm going to get a little bit more of my dark underneath that. I see I need to sharpen up an edge or two here on that cloth. There is, believe it or not, there's actually a mold line that kind of goes through the shield here. You have to keep in mind these are essentially our one-piece miniatures. So you will end up with mold lines in weird places, and that's why we use these sanding sticks. They come in a pack of typically 20 for $7-8. You can see there's some that have real heavy grit, and then there's some that are very fine. I usually hit them with this first, and then to try and get rid of all the scratch marks and scrape marks, that's when I hit them with the finer stuff. I think we're good up here too. I don't think I need to lighten that up anymore. I might try to hit the chainmail a bit here. I don't know. Back to the banner guy here. So thanks again, Drax, for that raid. Appreciate it. Can I get a little dark along that edge? And then here's another place right here. Let me grab some of that gold again. I don't know. This is some of our pre-glaze. Well, we actually gotten that fairly dark. Actually, Bithron, I actually thought you had gone off to bed there. Geez, Bithron, how many times has that happened to you? I think that's happened to you before, right? You know, I'm going to get a little bit more of a dark up there on that metal. Now, what about these guys here? Now I'm going to try and just sort of reorganize some of this. And again, I would like to try and do some sort of freehand around that thing. I don't have any real ideas on that, just not really knowing anything about the whole GreyJoy thing, so we'll just leave it be for now. Just about continuing the work on the fabulous buildings. Is that just a smidge of dark right there, and the same thing here. So you can see how we've got plenty of our darker metallic color, bands of lighter metallic color, and they're very important. And here we're doing a little bit of brush stroke maintenance, even with any brush can be a blending brush, even my brand new 18-0 liner brush. I mean, it's some pretty delicate blending that we're doing here with it. That's why I always have a whole suite of these things, right? Some of the more beat up ones, those sort of take on some of the rougher work, basically. More of that, again, that's the Van Dyke brown here. Let's see if I can get some darks in the folds here. There we go, and a little bit right there. No special mixing or anything like that, just basically taking the Van Dyke brown, putting it on there because it's going to mix with all the other stuff I already have there. The miniature is your palette. Your palette is just a color storage device. That's pretty much all it does. What I do like about the oils is it makes things like banner poles so much easier to mess around with here. Let me see if I can here. So what I was hoping to do, maybe take some of the lighter Terra Rosa, maybe even a little bit of the Radiant Violet here. Where are we at? See how easy it is to just plop that on there and then carry that straight down. We can do that here. Take it here. Pull it up just a little bit. Maybe some here on the edge of the banner pole. Now there. Back to the brown matter. This is as much a color contrast as it is a value contrast. Alright, thanks AD. Really appreciate that. And if everybody could please give AD Creations a follow, that would be fabulous. AD, if you want to put, again, a link to your stuff on the way out there as you head off to bed. Oh, I'm sure that would be fabulous. So thanks again, AD. Really appreciate you hanging out. And I hope that your next stream is also very fun. Because the box is looking fantastic. Alrighty. Bit of a brown. Ooh, yeah. So I think I need to get more of a edge there on that boot. See if we can do this here. More so with the dark than with the light. Alright. I guess I will have to go back to something like, wow, there's all that green that just mixed into that, which is fine. Okay. Yeah. Try that again. Of course, that could all be replaced if we do a bunch of mud spatter type stuff, or it could have some water effects on it. It could be any of those different things. That's much appreciated, AD. And again, please check out AD just posted link again, so you can see it. The fabulous Cthulhu box, and it's been quite an amazing process seeing that sculpted. So please go check that out. Oh, you know what? I better grab that same brown that we did before here, and okay, that was getting a little too light there on the back of that hand, I think. Van Dyke Brown now. There, that was just way too, and you could see all I had to do was just slap a couple of colors down there and it all mixed, right? No glazing, no whatever, right? No tragedy, no big deal. I don't know, is that going to really be more of a tear? I don't think so. I will, however, throw a little bit of a dark on those two spots, and then we'll just grab one of our blending brushes here. We'll just maybe use this thing here. I'm going to, again, take a paper towel here to it and just get rid of any junk that's on there. And then, no, we're not doing this. We're doing this. We're just going to tap here. And you can see how that paint starts to spread out. It was just one color. And now as it spreads out, it mixes over all the other paint that's there. See how easy that is? Nice and easy, right? Now, I will say, if you're going to be doing the whole brushstroke management thing, you might want to give the paint a little while to set. Which means instead of applying the paint necessarily and then right away going and doing that, maybe give it an hour or two. Now, if you're doing some of the blending stuff, not so bad. But with the brushstroke management, you want to have a chance for the paint to set. It's not going to be dry by any stretch of the imagination. Now, think of it like bread in the proving drawer. You're not going to mix up a loaf, or not going to mix up a bunch of bread dough and then just chuck it in the oven right away. You have to sort of let that set, maybe rise a little bit, or do whatever it's got to do. Same idea with the oil paints. Don't be hasty, little hobbitses. I know, but if I can do my usual landscape of Middle-earth stream, there was one image of Lothlorien that I wanted to try, because I already painted Lothlorien once. It was a much more close-up view, and this time around I was thinking of doing a little bit more of a long-distance view of Lothlorien. Again, it's going to depend on what's happening around here, and does it really look like something that's going to translate well on screen too, so that people can see what's happening easily? Because there's been a couple of other landscapes in Middle-earth that I thought about doing, and I could just tell right away they were not really going to do much on screen. Hey, Orchrist, nice to see you. Wow, it's been a while, Orchrist. I hope that you're doing well. So, Geok, the certain colors, like I say, especially reds and some phthalo colors, sometimes those can be, and some blues too, for whatever reason, can be a little bit on that shinier side. So all I do is once they are all cured and dried, I just brush on the Army Painter Anti-Shine. This is the same stuff I use for acrylics too, so it's all good. You got this, you are set. And the nice thing is you can just brush it on. You don't have to worry about too warm, too hot, too cold, too humid, too dry, whatever, because you're pretty much doing it inside your house. So, Orca, I hope that you'll be able to kind of get back into the painting zone. Oh, we need to get some darks over here, don't we? All right, let's do that. Just happened to look down here and went, what's going on there? No problem, Gyak. And the nice thing about the Army Painter Anti-Shine, well, a lot of the stuff I use, it's all dual purpose, right? The cleaner here, look at that. It's for dried acrylic and oils, not hazardous, no vapor. So I try to, and obviously the brushes I use the same brushes for both, no difference, doesn't matter to me. So I don't want people to feel like they have to have this whole separate thing for just oils and this whole separate thing for just acrylics and such. People, they probably already have a lot of acrylic stuff already. Now, Orchrist, is there any particular thing that you just is going to be a priority for when you can really kind of get back into the painting side of things? A project that had kind of been something that you were wanting to finish, or did you just want to start something new and kind of start fresh? Yeah, definitely the commission stuff is really, really, really important. Not a whole lot of electricity or anything like that. Hard to stream when you don't have a building around you. I suppose it can be done, but not easily. Generally easy to stream when you have multiple walls around you and electricity to go with it. Yeah, now oh yes, I don't have the Ankh stuff, but I have Blood Rage and then Rising Sun. I still have those. Maybe and get some of the Rising Sun things. But now here, I think I'm going to darken this edge here. Yeah. Again, that's just Perlene Black. Serious, I didn't do anything else except just slam some Perlene Black right there. And I might just do some more. Just a blob of Perlene Black. Boom. You see any layers there? No layers, no glazes. Oh, that, I'm sure, or Chris, that'll look fantastic. Yeah, that should look really, really good. And, I mean, any of those board games really look so fabulous when you've got the miniatures painted, or if there's little kind of terrain bits or something like that. It just adds to the experience so much when those are painted. And I hope that hopefully she can have herself a happy birthday. Alright, I'll just throw a little bit of that darker green right over there too. Oh yeah, no, oh gosh, I think I painted one God tier figure. It was just a random commission thing that somebody sent. I had no idea what it was. But I might have even painted it on stream and people said, oh, that's a God tier figure. Again, I'd never heard of it before. It was nifty. All right, back to our other guy here. So again, these are the last two figures in a 12-man unit of Song of Ice and Fire. GreyJoy Blacktyde, that's what I think they're called. It's been really interesting, and of course, did a lot of different stuff with the basing on these guys, using the 3D printed reeds and cattails from Make It Epic Basing. Really does add quite a bit to it. Now, well, workers, that should be that should really be fun. Oh gosh, let me get a little bit of that reddish brown into here, because I know we did that on the other ones. See if we can get some of that here too. Ah, there we are. Well, I think this was actually one of the very first ones that I did, if I remember right. I think so. I mean, these you could almost think of some of the Song of Ice and Fire stuff as more like a board game miniature in some ways. You don't necessarily have to paint anything. No, they come with the movement trays. They come with all the unit cards and everything. So in some ways it is more, I think they even intended to kind of have it be that way, where it's sort of like a board game. Uh, yeah, I'm going to get a little bit of the Terra Rosa into that. Let me see here. I'm going to see if I can get... Can you even see this, though? That's another... Okay, you can see that. This is another advantage of the oils. We call it blind blending here. Really just stick the brush down in there with some lighter color and let it do its own blending. Instead of trying to do a whole bunch of little delicate layers in a shadow area. Why would I want to be doing that anyways? Okay, a little more there maybe. Maybe. I did get some more light on that side. Okay, lighter than I thought. Now this, we need to go back over here with some darks, just like we did on the other guy's hands. I suppose we'll do that here. That's a little bit of the brown matter again. Darken down the back of his hand. With the mold line that cruised down through this, it just kind of devastated the hand a little bit. That's why I love the 3D printed stuff so much. Don't have to worry about that. Just redrawing the fingers there. I think we finally have those to where we need them to be. Let me see if I can't get a little bit of our... Yeah, we don't have any light metal colors on the end of the axe here. Let me see what happens with just the iridescent pearl white. Okay. Enough. Same up here. Guess I better thin it down. I would have thought that the thickers that, well, the metallics with the oils, it can be a little bit different. Sort of the same thing when you're working with the fluorescent oils too, especially the home mixed variety. Sometimes you just got to get used to them a little bit. All right, a little bit more of our, yeah, some of the lighter metal there. We have that lovely reflected green here. I think we have a light there. Okay, we do have a light over here. I do need to fade that boundary line a little bit, though. Another little dot of light there, and then, oh gosh, some more chainmail. Let me see if I can lighten this up, too. Yeah, a huge mold line just tore right through that area. I might throw a little bit of light here on the, yeah, on the rock. Same thing on the other one. I don't want to go too nuts with that. Could take that too far. Don't want to make that too late because we've got all of the flocking foliage and stuff to add. Definitely some dried leaves I want to put in there for sure. Being kind of a marshy thing. And then I want to try and do those. Take the rope and see if I can't make some tall grass / reeds out of that. Now I'm also going to get the black primer along the edges here. That's going to let me see just how dark my darks really are. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the blue tack down. I think we're mostly set on this one now. All right. Some of my black here. Again, this is kind of the precursor to then doing all of the black 3.0 along the edges. I realize that's a very expensive thing to do, but for what I do, it's kind of essential. It really helps with the photography side of things, because this, even when it dries, even though it's primer, still has a little bit of a sheen to it, which obviously a few coats of the black 3.0 is just not going to have. And then we'll do the other one here, and that really helps, because I was starting to do some stuff on the base. I'm going to try and get a little bit of the Terra Rosa and brown matter onto the base as well. There. Alright, and now we'll get into some of that Terra Rosa like we were talking about. Terra Rosa. Now I just throw a little bit of that onto the base here. Get mostly green, and then of course with some of the leafy bits in there, chopped up, broken up leaves, looking like some deadfall there at the bottom of the water. There is some on this side. I thought so. We go a little lighter, and then that's it. I guess a little more brilliant yellow pale into that maybe. Okay, that's it. No more. Don't want to go too crazy with that. Let's see what I have. Yep. It's a little over there. We'll just hit that very quickly. Again, so this is one. Oh, here's our. So this is our little bit of an example type of a piece here. Might try to throw a little bit more yellow onto this guy here too. The Indian yellow. Some of the brilliant yellow pale. Let those mix together. That should be about as light as I think I want to go. I'm going to get this up by the beard, because I think if this is a little lighter, if we talk about the context all the time, if I can make this a little lighter, the beard is just by comparison going to look darker by default. So just try to make that area a little bit lighter. Just a little bit lighter here. Maybe some down there. Maybe a little more of the brilliant yellow pale, I suppose. Let me see what that's going to do. Up here again. See if I can make sure you can see that. Sometimes the angle that I have to hold things can be harder for you to see. And we'll throw a little more of our lighter yellow down there, maybe two. Yeah, on the top edge of this, sure. Again, it's all mixing here, and then it all mixed together. Same there. That was too hard of a line. I just blended that edge very easily. It's the whole point of the oils, to make things easier for you. I know that there's some folks out, they do the, what is that, they paint part of it with acrylics and then do oils over the top of it. Really, it's just, it ends up being faster this way. It may not seem that way. You might think that there's some kind of an efficiency there, but it really doesn't make things go faster. Red makes things go faster. But that kind of combo there, it really, ultimately, it takes longer. There's a reason why I do all of this stuff just 100% through and through with the oils. If it was slightly faster, maybe it wouldn't be that big a deal, but it is orders of magnitude faster. Because it just lets you get that whole idea of a color goes somewhere, it must go everywhere. It basically just happens by default. You don't even have to think about it. It just happens. There's a little bit of a, might be too much of the yellow getting onto his beard there, but whatever. I do gotta, yeah, I gotta give him some eyes here. Some indigo. I think we want him to be looking off to the left of the screen. Let me see if we can manage that here. Okay, there's the first one. Turn it over. Not a lot of margin there. Don't want to just fill in the whole eye. Oof, and here again, mold line. So what can we do about that? See if I can go back to my latest metal color here. Probably going to have to thin it down. And then cut right across here. That's about the best I can do with it. It's about the best we can do. There we are. A couple more little tags of light on that. And now maybe here too. How's about some lighter green metallic? We've been doing mostly the dark phthalo green reflection. How about some lighter, so like that? See if I can get a couple of those now around both of these figures here. And again, both of these, it's 3 hours, 12 minutes in. Obviously, we've got the banner. That was a little bit more than what we had on some of the other ones. And let's maybe get some of that on the yeah, I think I'm going to try and get some of that on the interior of the shield too. And remember when that had basically no metal at all on the inside of it, it was just kind of whatever. Here, we're going to get some, not just reflected light, but a little reflected lighter green there. A little more here. Yeah. Okay. Ah, that's better. Okay, now, see, it's lighter back then, it gets darker out here. Not only does it get lighter here, but it also changes color slightly. Another huge thing. Gonna get me some of that green out here too. So that basically, it's the same. I didn't realize that was the same Kraken symbol that goes on the helmet there. Just, it wasn't until now. Literally painting the last guy, that's when I realized. And not every helmet has that. Only, I think he might be the only one Maybe two of them do. And I'm pretty sure that Big Chow Creative does all the sculpting on these guys still. I think they sculpt all of the cool mini stuff. At least I think they do. Alright, there. So like that, so you can see there's a whole range of colors and values just on that metal rim there. You got almost some nice light gold and some mid-tone gold. Then you have that sort of darker green, something in between, and here a very light metallic green up there. And boy, I need to do something else up here. That's just basically a big blob of light. Let me see what I can do with some darker greenish gold. So I just took the gold metallic, some of the green. When in doubt, sometimes you just gotta make things darker. It's weird. It's weird that way. That's gonna need just a straight up harder line there. So we'll go take the that's our perlene black and tiny bit of the metal there. And it's this line right along here. To shove that thing back a little bit. Now I'll come back with my iridescent pearl white. Have I gotten enough dark here so that this, oh yeah, look at that. When in doubt, make things darker, because now I actually see something happening there. All right. On the axe head here, we have nothing but dark on top of that. That's not really the way that should be. Should actually be much lighter here. Yeah. I'll try and throw a little bit of light there, and then maybe here too. Don't want to do too much. That's where the mold line just tore a huge chunk out of that. As I look at this banner here, I guess I've got all the darks in there in place. I never really did much with the gold. So I'm going to take some more of the Indian yellow, mix that with the iridescent pearl white. That is that's an intense gold. So I think it could be really fun to maybe take some of those Lethal Shadows minis and do some with the regular non-metallic, but maybe then on some of the other ones, try some true metallic. And they crack in here, just trying to find a little couple areas of that gold here. Oh, thanks for rejoining us here at Rathu. Now, I know that the real life stuff before there was it sounded like there was some tasty foods going on. I think, oh yeah, I had to try and make basically a homemade version of chicken noodle soup to try and match the pretty strict requirements of this soft food diet thing. There's just a bunch of things that cannot be in there, ironically enough, which is chunks of chicken. So had to figure out a way of making that. Also, I have to avoid the whole tomato based type things that you typically see in soup. That can't happen. Also have to avoid the dairy, but yet it still has to be edible in some ways. So that was the challenge of earlier today. I was trying to make Kathy something that could be a different taste, be edible, also still match the diet thing. So yeah, I'm well looking forward to some chow myself, but that is still hours away. Oh, maybe. Oh, look at this. I'm gonna fool around with the. So we just kind of changed our phthalo green there. All of a sudden now that phthalo green, a little bit of a warmer green here. Bringing that in to all of this. So it just gives it a little bit more complexity than just a bunch of gold or just a bunch of metal. There's some golds in there. There's some greens. And I might throw that over here so it's kind of a warmer green. Maybe more. Look at that. It's got a little bit more of the Indian yellow into it. So again, just a little change right there. Throwing some back there. Now, what about this here? I've got that green. Maybe let's see if I can do a little lighter green right along the edge here. Still the same iridescent pearl white, mixing it with. Oh gosh, we gotta get all the way over here to our lightest metal color. I just noticed this. Some of these little bits of chainmail right there. So yeah, we as of Friday, well, literally Saturday morning, none of these guys had paint on them. Over the course of 3 streams and 1 tutorial video, all 12 are now painted. That's due to the power of the oil paints for sure. No dairy, no pepper, no chunks of anything. Definitely no tomatoes. And there's several other things that just cannot be in there. There's a lot of vegetables even. Basically, peas and carrots, and those have to be, and even the noodles, everything has to be basically sort of softened to within an inch of its life. We never did get the metals on this shoulder over here. Now that's more like it. So there's a lot of fruits that she can't have. No apples. Uh, Actually, probably half the possible fruits there are on the no-fly list. So yeah, basically one of the things I was doing was, well, we've always liked basically mashed sweet potatoes. Typically, though, it's a sweet, kind of 50-50 sweet potato and regular kind of Idaho potato. But those are just, there's too much starchiness to them. So you can't have any kind of bread or anything like that. So see, I've been using the beef broth with that, but after a while, I mean, I I can just eat the same thing over and over again and survive. It's no big deal. Some folks, it's just very difficult for them to do that. So Sparrow, that's something that basically kind of comes with the experience, and you hear me talking about it in the later stages of things. Actually, I was just doing that, oh gosh, maybe a half an hour ago. It's called brushstroke management, where you just take a brush that has no paint on it whatsoever, and you just basically do a little something like this, and you just sort of tap, 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 and all that does is merge your brush strokes together, takes the edge off of them. It doesn't, it's not, you're not trying to mix colors or anything. That just helps to get rid of some of the brush strokes, but that's not something you want to do right away. Now the other thing, Sparrow, that happens is that people are piling way too much paint on the miniature. And by way too much, I mean like orders of magnitude too much. It's just something that comes with experience. the more you paint, even me, seriously, I've been using the oils for 6 years now on miniatures, and I use less paint on the miniature now than I did 6 days ago, than I did 6 weeks ago, than I did 6 months ago. And the same will happen for you. You'll find yourself using less and less paint, doing more of they just plop it on there and then blend it that way instead of more of that kind of layered approach. You'll get sort of used to the consistency of the paints as well, and that's another thing that can contribute to the brushstrokes. Some colors just heavier than others. Also, we talk about it all the time, right? None of this here, none of this death grip on the metal part of the brush. I've seen people holding the brush like this. What's up with that? But you want a nice relaxed grip on the brush. Look at this. Hashtag no thumbs. Nice relaxed grip on the brush there. That's also going to help you. When you're just really stabbing at the miniature, that's also going to create some more of those brush strokes. So just a couple of things that could take a little bit longer to develop. Maybe you're just used to some different things, but always make sure that you don't get impatient with yourself. We all want to just do things immediately right away, and sometimes they take a little bit to develop, and that's all good. That's all just fine. See, that is just way too much of a big chunk of light there. To take that down a little. Even a little bit of reflected light that goes up that side there too. Even with the pre-glaze, my pre-glaze used to just be basically raw umber. I didn't use any other color. It was just raw umber and nothing else. Then I started to change that around to just one or two other. Then suddenly the pre-glaze became multi-phase, and then we actually started to mix basically custom pre-glaze colors like this. That's the Indian yellow mixed with the perlene black. Oh, no problem, Sparrow. Yeah, definitely want to, uh, yeah, again, don't be too harsh on yourself for sure. And that's one of those things, I know for me, since doing so much with the oil painting over the years and 2D, that was already kind of part of it. Obviously, the holding the brush that certain way, right, having a nice light grip on it, that was already part of what I did on a daily basis anyway. Folks not as familiar with that, takes a little bit to get used to. But there's folks in the chat, they can tell you there's kind of a distinct, sometimes there's like one miniature they can remember where it just was a bit of a breakthrough, and they said, oh, that's what I need to be doing here. Now, Spiro, I'm glad that you were able to do that. The skin tone stuff, well, especially with the oils, is this, oh man, it is just so fun. Let me see, where is our, oh, here she is. Yeah, this was that Eowyn bust that I sculpted a while back. I think it was a year or something ago. And it's the same kind of Terra Rosa, brilliant yellow pale, but even some of the grays that are in there, some of the reddish tones. Really, really fun to be mixing those. Oh, thanks, Armored Wolf. Appreciate that. Oh, so it's 4:08. I think I might actually be heading over Steela's way here pretty soon, because there's still some other things that I have to do yet tonight. Get some more of our light over here. Because I believe Steela is possibly finishing off that Oni, maybe, or she got something new going on. Alright. Couple more lights on the end of the beard here, maybe. So the other thing too, we're limited as to where we can get the ingredients from and such. So there's kind of limited in that sense too. And then the other thing is I can't make a giant amount of it. It almost has to be made serving by serving. So there's all kinds of really weird limitations to all of this, and it's definitely made it challenging. And there are times where everything changes, where it's like, well, that food that used to be easy to eat is now very difficult, and now it's this other food that's easier to eat. So there's times where I've had to just kind of chuck stuff in the garbage because all of a sudden that food was too difficult to eat. And it's very random. Sometimes it can change in the course of just a day or hours. And that's kind of why we basically are on pins and needles 24 hours a day. Here, let's get a little bit more of our light on this tunic here. All I'm doing is just a little bit of stippling there. That's all. It's another kind of legit oil painting thing that you can do. Obviously, with acrylics, you just end up with a whole bunch of brush strokes there. With the oils, well, not so much, right? It's all going to be blending together. And okay, there. And the other thing too is it cannot be too warm. It can't be too warm. It can't be too cold. There's the target area is very, very, very narrow and changing all the time. I guess I'll take the last little bit of light over there. One last little bit of light over here to also get it not quite as cool as that green is. Yeah, Orcris, that's why we have the surgery fund thing there. That's been a very not so fun odyssey. Well, really all through April, actually, especially the last few weeks of April. Then the hospitalization in May. And then there's more stuff that's coming up, but not really sure what's all involved with that. It's all been just a series of mysteries along the way. Alright, I'm going to go back to the other one. Yeah, that's this one. Okay. Now we got the right one. I think I'm going to try and get some more of my lighter green in here. Boom, right there. No problem, Orchrist. Well, a lot of the folks that usually see the streams at my normal hours, they haven't been able to, unless they kind of have either watched some of the streams, kind of as highlights or whatever. It would be difficult for them to know. I've really wanted to at least do one stream or something like that at my normal time, if anything else, just to maybe try and fill people in. It's not really stuff I want to be throwing out there on Facebook and all that other kind of stuff. But yeah, we have not been able to do a normal stream since basically April. Now, thanks to Rathu, well, all of the contributions and stuff, that is really huge. Especially with all of the lost income, that's another issue there too. Is that obviously there was all the Gen Con streams that Kathy was doing, and it's now been 2 months or so, and she won't be doing those anytime soon. So whenever you combine expenditure with less input, that's uh, that's not as fun. All right, what do we got here that's fun? We have a brush here with sort of no paint on it. This is about the, see, brushstroke management here. We just have that big old area of dark. I'm just going to tap, tap, tap at that, and it's all nice and smooth there. So what I'm going to be doing here is heading over to Stila. We'll get our two figures out here. I'll get that raid countdown started. So there's the banner, and there is this guy. So all 12 now finished, which means I can get to the video where we paint this, foliate it, flock it, do all that kind of stuff, and then do the special water effects. Thanks, Bitron. Thanks for doing the clips as well. That's also thank Armored Wolf. Well, also thanks folks for the raids and the follows and the subs, because that really is very helpful. I'm going to get that countdown started now here. So on our way to Steel, who's also using the oil paints. Yes, from oils to oils. How does that sound? So yeah, all 12 of these guys done. Very cool. And hopefully also too with the fast matte white, it's also going to be drying faster. So thanks again, everybody. I appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you on Thursday.